All right. Welcome to the Scandal Podcast. I'm Langston Smith, sitting in for creator and hostess of the Scandal Podcast, Jaha Knight. And again, as you all know, we have been doing a slightly new format, reviewing 3 Scandal episodes per podcast. But today is special because we are doing a singular episode, and that singular episode is the season finale of Scandal Season 5. And so, as we are awaiting our Scandal Podcast team member from across the pond, Katrina Pavela, I will tell you who I am. I am Langston Smith, and you can find me on Twitter at Langston Smith. That's right, at Langston Smith on Twitter, and at Langston_Smith on Instagram. Also, my name is spelled with an A, not an O. So if you've been out there searching for me and you can't find me, coffee light and sweet. It's because you're spelling my name wrong. So, so as usual, you can reach out to us, me, we, all of us, whoever's here today, live. And of course, if there's anybody who would like to join me, feel free. Seat is open for now, and there are up to 4 seats. So if folks want to get on here and chit chat with me, that is fine. Throw out your own opinions about what happened in the season finale. That will be great. So again, you can ask questions. We'll address them. I'll address them later on in the Q&A portion of each segment. Well, there's only one segment, So, but it basically, if after each of our sequences of questions or whatever, and you want to get more clarity on something, feel free to pop it up on the right, and I'll answer it, if I have an answer. So again, if you or your friends want to watch us live, just visit, follow, and like Scandal Podcast on Twitter or Facebook, and click on our current Blab post, and you can watch us live and in color on your computer screen. And again, there's a Q&A feature on Blab, and it's on the right, and you can ask us any questions, and we'll try to answer them during the segments. Okay, so the season finale. 5/21. That's my girl. So we start off with Jake having an afternoon drink with Vanessa's father, and the conversation is pleasant, even touching, right up until the time Vanessa's father clutches his chest and Jake just sits there as his father-in-law has a heart attack and informs him that Vanessa's inheritance will be coming very handy. And he goes on to fake a panicked 911 call. And so we also find that Cyrus wants David Rosen to be Frankie Vargas's running mate, aka vice president, and he doesn't actually have to kill anyone to do that. So, in truth, Cyrus wants David to be David because both he and Vargas are of the same cloth. They're Democrats, and they have the same belief system. And of course, Elizabeth gets wind of the meeting, and she wants to be his campaign manager. And of course, to clinch the deal, she decides that they should debase themselves thoroughly. There is a Governor Bill Wagner that Mellie and Olivia are betting to be Mellie's vice presidential candidate. And it turns out that he has a secret past of dealing cocaine while in college. And of course, Huck and Quinn try to tighten up the loose ends by going to his partner in crime and trying to pay him off and give him a new identity and send him off to Albuquerque with a new condo. But he's reluctant, and it seems Huck is threatening him. It's like, what were his exact words? I think he said, if you don't take the deal, we'll have to talk about retirement. And we all know what Huck's retirement plan is. So So then apparently Fitz writes a speech that Melly is not too agreeable with, and she confronts him at the convention stadium. And it's probably one of the best, a very interesting read on how Melly feels about Fitz and how she feels that she's owed the this moment, this space and time, as well as the White House. Um, and she also feels that she earned it, whereas Fitz did not. But then, of course, Fitz had nothing to do with that. So that's a interesting take that she has on that. And Fitz and Abby, aka Red, which makes them Ritz, have a conversation. And while Fitz contemplates where he might possibly end up after his White House run ends in 5 months, and Vermont comes up, which is interesting. And I guess that can come up. That will probably come up in conversation. Again, if anyone wants to pop in, you can, and we can have that conversation. Huck also lets Olivia know that you can't take command, but you can be command. So Olivia basically does that and goes in and rescues Jake. And it's interesting. I think I personally was on the edge of my seat, just wondering if she was actually going to be able to pull it off. And but she did. She pulled it off, and you could tell that they both had a shit their pants moment. That's all I can say. It looked like a shit their pants moment when they got outside the door. Once Olivia has saved Jake and they are about to go on stage, and Jake starts expounding about this house that he passes by every day before work on his way to the office. My main question is, what office are you going to, Jake? I'm confused, because I don't think since season 2 we've actually seen Jake go to work. And might I add that Jake is now an admiral. When did that happen? So I'm trying to figure out, when did Jake end up jumping from captain to admiral? When was he ever going to work? Because most of the time that we know of, he was either having sex with Olivia or he was literally doing Papa Pope's dirty work. So I'm confused. So, very interesting how Olivia actually told Jake to put on the damn tie after he told the story, because I loved it when she said, "Have you lost your damn mind?" Because that's literally what it sounded like. You put her through whatever to literally have to go and face her father and stare him down while he had a gun to your head, and you're thinking about not being a part of this race. You're thinking about not putting on that tie. You're talking about some random shack that you've been passing by, because I think somebody posted it in Scandalistas and Scandalrati, a comparison shot of the house that Jake wants Olivia to move in with him and the house that Fitz wants him to move in. There's no comparison. Stop it. Let's talk about, and then there's Tom and Cyrus. Tom wanted to kill Michael for Cyrus for taking Ella, and Cyrus talked him out of it, and there was a very touching, sweet moment between Cyrus and Tom, and then later on he dumps him for Michael. I think I get it. Michael is the presumptive husband that the marriage that was created, the perfect marriage that was created after a huge scandal. I get it, but I don't know. There was something, although people were surprised about the whole Cyrus-Tom relationship, there was something actually genuine. And Cyrus literally said, "This is the most genuine relationship I've ever had," because monster versus monster. It's like, here they were, like he said, here we are talking about killing someone without batting an eye. And this is probably the most honest relationship I've ever had. And I think that was true because he hit it. Although, like he said, James is the love of his life. He hit a lot. He lied a lot to James. Okay, I think Katrina's coming in. Uh-oh. I think there's more than one. Okay, so apparently there are more than one podcast schedule, but oddly they're not showing on my end. So let me send this link to Katrina real quick. And I will be right with you guys. Okay, so I'll be right with you guys as soon as I send this link to Katrina. I cannot believe this after the entire day that I've had trying to get this scheduled, and she says there are literally 6 links or 6 podcasts scheduled for today. I can't find a single one of them. None of them are showing up on my end. All right. So hopefully she'll get that shortly and she'll be right in. So, one second. Yep, just come on in. The Jake hate is about to begin. I know some of y'all love him, but hey, Shonda is Gretchen to me. She's Gretchen Wiener from Mean Girls. Stop trying to make Jake happen. Okay, so explain that Coffee Light and Sweet. You say that when Cy was up in Tom's face by Liv's apartment door, I thought Tom's reaction was a little strange to Cy. Which, I mean, I right now I think I'm drawing a blank on that one. So remind me what that was, because I remember the scene in the bedroom. I remember the scene backstage at the convention, but I don't know if I remember the part about him at Liv's apartment though. Oh, that one. Oh, when well, I don't know if that had anything to do with him being gay, but it was just like Cy was in his face, trying to force him to let him in so he could talk to the president, and Tom wasn't budging. So I'm not sure if that had anything to do with it. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about, but it was just like he was just dry. There was nothing. I didn't think there was anything out of place with his reaction, other than he was just dry. He was just stone faced, like so. And you could yell all you want. You're not gonna get in. Period. And of course, at that time, we didn't know that Tom was B613. I am just babbling. I am waiting for you. uh, how did Sai know about Andrew? What do you mean? What do you mean? Um, what do you mean, Yvonne? Oh, well, obviously Rowan runs his mouth about a lot of stuff. I agree with Annie. He probably learned it from Rowan because Rowan's running his mouth a lot lately. He's running his mouth about Olivia's pregnancy, running his mouth out uh, about Andrew. He knew hell. Ask how did Papa know about Cy and Virginia? He knew about that. So I'm all I gotta say is Olivia needs to pack up her shit, leave her apartment, her phone, furniture, everything in that apartment. She needs to pack up her offices. Well, no, don't even pack up the offices. They just need to find a new location. They need to get burner phones because it's the only way the Papa Pope won't know what's going on. Because it's like either there's a mole within OPA, and I would hate to think that it was Marcus. Either he's got a mole in OPA or he just got bugs everywhere. He's got listening devices everywhere. Right. She needs a sanatorium somewhere, a sanatorium, because she needs to get her mental help. One moment. Hmm. Um, you know what? I honestly think that Tom would probably work. Here she comes! Yay! So,
Oh my
I'm just
God.
I cannot even begin to tell you about the day I have had just trying to create this. I started yesterday and nothing would work. And now you're telling me there are six scheduled for
Yeah,
today?
it said when I went to the schedule thing. Hold on a second. This isn't working. When I went to schedule, it has like 6 different ones. Okay, I'm just gonna have to hold this and
And I don't know where any of them are because they didn't show up on the profile page at all.
yeah, it's
Uh-oh,
not
your
showing.
your internet signal took you down.
Hold on.
I can hear you. I just can't see you anymore.
Hello.
And there she is.
Yeah. So it's what was I gonna say? Yeah, it's not showing as a live show. You know that
Right.
that you're live on the air. It's not
Right.
showing up like when I open up
So
my
it's
Slack.
it's probably the several times that I tried to actually create the blab that because I kept doing it and it never would create. So what I ended up having to do is 15 minutes before airtime, I literally had to just go live and just let it sit there until people started showing up. And they did. They started showing up, and we're so appreciative of you guys showing up today.
Sorry for
And
being late that I couldn't like get in and all that stuff, and now my hair's messed up.
tweet it out, folks. Tweet it out. Let folks know that we're here and we're doing our
Yeah.
thing.
Tweet
Send them this link, because I'm sure there's people probably I like I said, I didn't know that those other links were out there. So thank you, Charity. Yeah, they probably do. And now that Jake is now the head of the NSA, they probably added even more listening devices. But basically, what we've been talking about, Katrina, is
sorry,
we did. They've just been throwing questions out, and I've just been answering them. And so, one of the questions was, how did Cyrus know about Andrew, about Olivia killing Andrew? And Annie 340 basically said, probably from Rowan. And I agree with her that Rowan been running his mouth about everything. He knows everything and everything about everybody. So I would have to say that
everybody against each other. So, well, I think there are a couple of scenarios here. One is that, when Rowan went to go give information to Abby on Olivia, he could have been doing that with other people too, right? He could have done it with Cyrus as well, and that's how he knew. But the other thing is that Cyrus could say Andrew Nichols, because from the meetings, he could think that, no, you guys killed him, and knew that Olivia was involved in it, and he wasn't, right? And he has immunity from any such thing, so he could use that against her. Not necessarily that he knows that she personally killed him. He could, if Rowan didn't do that and tell him in order to have so that he could have ammunition in order to lob a grenade at Olivia and Melly's campaign, then Cyrus knows, because of his inside dealings with the group, and he knows that he can't be held responsible for that shit.
Right.
Remember?
Because from the meeting in the kitchen. Because at the end of the day, and the other reason that Papa could have and might have told him is just to let him know that he's not the only monster. Yeah. And it's like, because we didn't get to see the full conversation between Cyrus and Papa, and clearly there was a reason that was held back from us, and the ending let us know what that conversation was. So,
because I think Rowan was hedging his bets, across lots of different campaigns, like come hell or high water, Jake was going to be VP on somebody's motherfucking ticket. And so, he was doing whatever he needed to do to make sure that was possible, because he was going to be getting in the Oval, because Jake in the Oval means Rowan's in the Oval.
And the funny thing is now that Cyrus is running, now he's got a candidate under his thumb in the other camp. Yeah. So it's like he wins no matter what. So the only way that he'll probably lose control of Melly's campaign is if Olivia actually kicks Jake to the curb and says, "I'm taking over. Step off." And I literally thought that that's what was about to happen when she was doing that, the Olivia stomp down the hallway with the cell phone. I was like, oh, she's getting ready to go tell Jake, you know what? Take the tie off. Take your ass home. Take your ass to that little shack. That little shack that you thought that you were.
That double wide trailer. Shout out to JR5 on Twitter. All right. She's like, yep, that looks like an Indiana double wide. All right.
Oh my God. I was like, dude, are you serious? I was like, clearly you didn't get wind of the house in Vermont. Melly knew about it, but you didn't know about it. And it's like, dude, if you knew about the house in Vermont, there's no way you would have showed her that picture on your cell phone. You'd have been like,
he doesn't need to know about the house in Vermont to know that kind of
he's not on that level.
Olivia has never been on that fucking level. They have gone to pains this season with, at least they did in the first half of this season, about the drinks, and it was very important what drink people were drinking and whether you accepted someone's drink or not, right? So Fitz and his scotch, Olivia and her red wine, and then drinking Fitz scotch, and then in episode 502, how Olivia rejects the beer that Jake tries to give her. And this is the second time we see her rejecting the beer. The very first time she goes to have sex with him at his apartment, she rejects his beer. She tastes it and she's like, no thanks. And he's like, oh, you're too fancy for beer. So, and I know it's a simple thing, but something like that, her taste in wines, her apartment, the way she dresses, like her taste in men, frankly, Jake has never been good enough for her. And everything he has is manufactured by Rowan, including his supposed Harvard degree. Like, Harvard must just be giving this shit out, for purchase now, because you're not going to tell me that Pete Harris actually studied at Harvard. Whatever. Rowan bought that degree.
No, anyway, he brought that degree. His whole identity is
about the house in Vermont. Everything about Olivia should tell you that she was never going to be about that double wide. And all of you Oleg trolls out there who were like, it was a test. He was giving her a test to see if she loved him enough to go live that life with him, or if she was going to choose power every time. Are you fucking new to this show? Do you understand that Olivia Pope?
He never chooses him.
Has walked away from Fitzgerald Grant with $100 million trust fund and everything and love and all of that. Every single fucking time she's chosen power over love. This idea of seeing this sacrifice over getting her life. Every time. Not when anybody asked her to give up anything, but that he would give it up for her. She's chosen to hang on to his power in that life that she knows every time. So what the fuck made you think that Olivia was going to give it up to go live in a double wide and have unremarkable anything? Unimpressive anything. Nothing about her is unimpressive. Why would you want to go have dumbass kids with second best Jake? It's just ludicrous to me that anybody was surprised by that scene.
And I mean, she said, and then she basically said it out loud. I'm not that person. Yeah. That's not me.
Yeah, that's mediocre. Now, the problem here is, and people, I made fun of the comparison of the life that Jake aspires to with the house that Fitz built for Olivia, because it's not about the size of the house. It's about the intention around it. Someone on Twitter said to me earlier that about the contrast between Vermont and the house that Jake wants is that Jake is the one that walked by that house every day. It appeals to Jake and it appeals to Jake's vision. And he wanted Olivia to come and see that vision with him. Vermont is based on mutual memories. He gave her the ring in Vermont. They reconciled there for Cyrus and James's wedding. And that house is based on things that Olivia has told him. You remember 212 when he calls her and she's like, Edison, proposed to be, maybe I should just go to the country, have some kids, make some jam. So the whole jam thing and the children and the house and all of that, he built that off of shit that she said to him, tried to realize the dream that they had. Nothing about what Jake proposed was about Olivia. It was entirely about him.
About him. He wants the simple life.
Yeah. And
she doesn't.
Right. And it's
it's so Green Acres. It's so Green Acres.
Is. And I'm not knocking his dream, because dude, you really need, you can only realize that life for yourself. You can't hang on to somebody else and make them your plan. Like Olivia said in 501. And I think even Fitz has had to learn that, Olivia can't be your everything. She can't be your plan. And for Jake, he's sitting around waiting for her to come save him, while he also kind of detests her at the same time. And within a matter of a day, you want to turn around and talk about how your married ass wants to run off with her to go live in this double wide trailer and have 3 children. It's just ludicrous to me that he thinks that he could just go from zero to that. Right. I wish him that life, but he's got to do that for himself. Nobody else can do that for you. And Olivia can't do that for you.
And there's also this assumption that because she messed around previously with a married man, that she would do it again with him. It's like,
Right.
dude, that's
Well,
not what it was about.
thank you. He had that, but listen up here, because I am here to shade the entire fuck out of Jake Ballard, Melly Grant, and all of their stands today. Because Jake had this intention for a while. From episode 12, when Olivia confronted him after they've had their second or third fuck for the day on the weekend, on a Sunday, she says to him, "So you're dating now?" And he's like, "Oh, I didn't think your dad was going to tell you." And he's like, "Don't worry, we're safe. You're safe." Which means, one, he was hiding the fact that he was dating this woman. I don't care if it was a mission or not. You were hiding it. Two,
Right.
you assumed that you guys were just going to keep on fucking and you were going to keep on carrying on with this other woman until, you got married and whatever. And Olivia was just going to be your side piece. And I'm sure that was the intention, that you were going to keep getting what you could out of her while you were living this other life and married to this woman, even though Olivia doesn't love you, never has. And as a matter of fact, she said it to your face on your wedding day. Yet you still harbor these dreams. For me, I just feel like, dude, that's harassment. That's not love.
I mean, and here's the other thing that people need to understand. Even Jake knew some of that shit was true, because when she tried to come and apologize for it, he was like, "I don't need to hear it.
I don't want to hear it."
Because that shit hit the bone, because he knew that it was true.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people are, they're saying, "Oh, she didn't mean it." No, she absolutely, the things that she said were true. And I am going to break that piece down and give you all of the evidence to show you that it's been true. But she didn't need to be that mean about it and be that direct, because that was harsh. Telling him that I think about Fitz when I'm with you, no man wants to hear that. Like, it's harsh.
And and don't, you know what? We're not even doing the structure today. Is she here for real? What?
Yes.
There she is. Bring her ass in here. Come on in here. Come on. I know you watched it.
Yvonne, do you want to come on?
Come on in here, y'all.
I'll talk forever.
Because activity is activity, and we'd love to have extra voices along with ours.
Yvonne, come on.
But,
you want to come on?
Yeah, just request, and I'll bring you on in.
She just with her hair.
Girl, put on a hat. We won't even worry about it.
All right, we'll just go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I will go back to the question.
Andy,
but anyway,
we
just been chit chatting. But did you find this episode compelling?
No.
Why or why not?
Okay, I want to say this, that I feel like the episode, and I don't want to say, oh, it's my fault, because I didn't watch any promos going in. I haven't heard any spoilers or anything like this. But I think if you're a person who really pays attention to the show, that includes you, Langston, you have podcasts, or you discuss it in private groups or on Twitter or on Tumblr with your friends and really break it apart and analyze it. Like, this went to the most, not except for with Cyrus. I didn't see the Cyrus thing as VP coming. And I'll say some more about that in a second. I didn't see that. But that was the only thing that surprised me. But the Jake being on Melly's ticket, it seemed like if something was going to turn for Olivia, that knowing how she is, she was going to do that to save him from her father, that he was going to end up there.
But most of the stuff that happened, we had predicted. But it's like, we predicted stuff in the past, that happened in the season finale, and usually it always connected to Papa. But I really don't think none of us saw in season 3 ending the way that it ended. But it,
right. That
was a twist.
That was a masterful chess game. This one was like 318 Redux, and it was like, dude.
Right. And it's like, just instead of, I don't know, up. I just feel like they didn't up the ante. It was still a good season finale, but I don't think for the season 4, season 5, they just have not met that expectation. But at the same time, they haven't followed the same momentum that they followed in previous. You know.
I feel like for me, this is the most underwhelming season finale that they've ever had. I actually really enjoyed the season 4 finale. The season 4 finale was better than like at least 5
somebody put
episodes.
up somebody put on a hat. Here she comes.
Oh yes.
Yay. She probably got a big African head wrap or something on. She's giving us Coming for America. I can't wait to see what she did.
Work. The season 4 finale for me was better than most of the episodes in the back half of season 4, which was a hard season to watch. But I felt like, oh my God, what are they gonna do next? Like, it really blew things up. Melly, Cyrus were out. Changed COSs. Olivia was actually gonna try this time, and it's like, whoa, what's going to happen? This season finale for me, I still feel like, I'm thinking of which way is this going to go. But part of it feels for me like I feel like this whole Papa Pope controls everything line is getting really tired for me, because it makes Olivia a less compelling character. Like, this kind of Olivia for me, it's like right. First it was, she got season 3, she got duped and really didn't know it, and she had to flee because he had beat her down so badly by destroying so much around her and people, and to get her to go, that was a complete surprise, because that was our first time really seeing what Papa Pope was capable of. Season 4, I still believe that he's involved with the kidnapping, and it hasn't been like revealed yet. And if they can connect that, I will tip my hat to them. But season 4, she quarantines him. It seems like she's taken command of her life. Season 5, she has a backsliding because she was so unprepared for the choices that she made that she kind of backslid into the programming that felt safe for her, retreat back into the dirty bathroom. And we saw that full force in the second half of season 5. And after like shunning love and light and any possibility of the future that she said that she wants, she now overcorrects in the opposite direction. And by the end, we see her fully embracing this darkness. And the thing is, and the force of her father and the power that she thinks is really valuable, or what she's meant to attain in life. And of course, it is a false thing. Like, I don't want to get too, far into it, but this concept of power is ultimately a dehumanizing one, because Olivia right now is so much less of a person. She's basically a statue. There's no joy in her life. Remember when we used to see popcorn because she would let herself feel? Like, sadness is a feeling. There's been zero popcorn this entire back half. And that's not because Olivia is happy. It's because Olivia isn't feeling at all. And the lack of emotionality, like in her life, and any source of joy or light has been really difficult to watch. And so for me, I'm really frustrated with her. And I think that at the end of the episode, I think what I felt was, am I up for the same bullshit with her and Rowan and Jake and Melly? Because those 3 people that have surrounded Olivia this episode are the 3 people. I would say Jake has been more so used as a tool, but Melly and Rowan especially are after the same form of power, this white male patriarchal power that they think is the key to freedom or being at the top, and going after it in whatever ways they can, and trying to use white male power to their strength, which is why Jake is a tool for Papa, right? Because that's what America values. And Jake is actually the weakest kind of man possible, but his maleness and his whiteness is what he has going for him.
Yeah.
And
he's very,
outside
of the fact that he's a murderer, he's very much all American. That's the look. He's got the look that, and ultimately, I think that somebody asked the question once, why Jake? That's why.
Yeah, and
Because
he's easily broken. Why anyone is someone that
hmm
Rowan can take advantage of, that he can
hmm
find a way to break them and use them. So
hmm
I'll just finish this quickly because I'm like talking too much. But like, so at the end for me, I think, okay, Olivia, you think that you're winning, but what's the cost though to you? It like, what
hmm
else do you, this is all you have going on in your life. And I think she knows that. She has destroyed so much in her life. She's put all of her eggs in this one basket to winning. And it's like, if she
right,
doesn't win, I don't know what will happen. And part of me wants her to lose and have to face that. You know, the
right,
woman who is never out of cards to play now doesn't have
right,
any other cards but
and
this one.
and I have to agree that the whole concept of Papa Pope. I mean, although I love Joe Morton and I love the character of Papa Pope,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same,
what
same.
what he stands for now is just pure domination,
Yeah,
and it's like there's you know if we've already come to, it's like for me when I used to watch House, the show House. Did you ever
yeah.
watch that? It's
I
like
know, but I know of it. Yeah,
right. So my thing is if House was always freaking right, why do we have this whole idea that his staff was always disagreeing with him? And so now I'm at the point. That's where I'm at the point with Papa Pope. Okay, he's always gonna win. If he's always gonna win, then there's nothing. It's not really a competition.
yeah.
If
Why are we
every
even doing this?
if every single time he's gonna win, because I mean, Olivia actually did win in season 4, but
Yeah,
then you brought him back. It's like
yeah.
you didn't even give us time to you didn't even give her an opportunity to gloat other than that one moment that she had when she walked away. Bye, Dad. That was it. And I mean,
Yeah.
I would have rather seen her go visit him a few more times. I would have rather her be the one visiting him in season 5 than Jake, because we kind of knew where that was going. It's like if he's visiting him for a reason, and we now know why that is. But Olivia needed to go a few times like she did with her mom and just kind of like show her disdain for him. But
Well, I think
ultimately, even though
the
even
only. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, even though she wasn't the one who actually released him, it was her idea that got the ball rolling.
Yeah, yeah. And I said,
She was the one that put it out there, and
I said that.
ultimately she screwed up her own win. It's like it's like you you're playing soccer and you kick the goal in, but then you go, you know what? I'm gonna give it to you guys. Why? It's like you had him and then you pulled the ball back.
It's like
It's
what
ridiculous.
I keep going back to what Huck said to her in 512, and
hmm
I just thought, man, he really hit it on the nail. He said, that Rowan is her guy and that she needs him because so long as she has him by her side, nothing she does is worse by comparison. And we saw at the end of 519, crying in Huck's arms where she said, I'm better than him. I am not him. I'm better than him, right? But you're not. Now you
hmm
are him. The whole thing about
hmm
winning with dignity has gone out the window because
Right.
people have died and been robbed for this ticket for you to
hmm
win. So,
hmm
if that's the case, what do you think the administration is going to look like? And what's going to happen with OPA if what you want is to get back in the White House? How are you going to do both? You know, you talked about when
hmm
you were successfully for a while navigating back and forth, um, running the Oval, going back to OPA when you had a case. It's like, girl, you need to make a decision. And she doesn't like giving up anything. It's like, in 409 when she was dancing and she was like, I don't choose Jake, I don't choose Fitz, I want Vermont and I want the sun with you. I choose me. I was like, bitch, get the fuck, because you're not choosing yourself. What you're choosing is to delay and just keep people hanging on
and keep dancing
and keep dancing.
Yeah,
You're
and
avoiding. That's what you're doing.
She's saying, Olivia Pope is dancing. Yes, Olivia Pope is dancing. She's dancing between these two men, and she's keeping them both on a string and not really committing to anything. Hell, I don't even think she hasn't committed to herself since she came back.
No, she hasn't. And the whole in 514, I was glad that she talked about, I was kidnapped and basically that she was they took her dignity and her freedom and all those things, and that she's never going to be made to feel that way, and that it's her time now. But my thing is, your time for what, Olivia? And it feels like this selfishness that she has, because it really is kind of selfish. She does what she wants, she takes what she will, and she discards the rest, and it kind of doesn't matter how other people feel about it, and yet she's still making herself a victim. She was a victim in her relationship with Fitz, which is just fucking bullshit to me. And I want Jaha to come on here and fight me for that. She's like this Melly life, everything. Like, she didn't have any choices. She didn't have a voice, and she chose not to, exercise. Anyway, and it's like, why can't you say this thing? That's what you need to examine. This selfishness of hers. Everybody should be selfish. Believe me, I don't think selfishness is a bad thing, because you're the only person in life that is in charge of taking care of you. Other than children, for all adults, that's the case. So you have to be selfish and protect yourself sometimes. But also,
because when adults take care of adults, there's always strings attached.
Exactly. So, always, right? Always strings attached. So you have to make sure that you get what you need, but at the same time, no man or woman, or non-binary gender identified person is an island to themselves.
Oh my God.
It's an island.
I literally can't. I can't. But go on. That was funny.
I have to get that in there. And that, no one is an island unto themselves. Like, we need other people. And the problem with Olivia is that I feel like she's been treating people like objects. This back half, especially this back half, of what they can kind of do for her. People getting in her way, and she kind of discards them. So she's, sort of further embracing the power aesthetic of her father. And like I said, it is a dehumanizing one, because it's one that is predicated on white patriarchal male power as the most valuable and beneficial kind of power, and it's not. And it's like, so if all of us who aren't straight white men just try to be straight white men, what would the world be? Straight white males are responsible for a lot of destruction in this world and also this country. So winning is not to be like them. And as pro-black as Rowan wants to be with his fucking speeches, he is an agent of white supremacy in the worst ways, because Olivia has to be respectable and deny her blackness in some ways in order to get that power. Her proximity to whiteness in that way is what Rowan sees as like the most valuable thing, and the way she gets to power. Like, and it's just, and it starts with that whole twice as good, speech, which I've already talked about how much I hate that. And it does real damage to our children and us to embrace that ideology.
Why'd you stop?
Mom said she can't get in. I guess she was trying to come up.
Yeah. She tried a few times, and it looks like her internet, it was telling her internet was doing something. You want to try again, Yvonne, see what happens?
Oh man, I haven't even taken a drink. I've been running my mouth.
What are you drinking today? Let's talk about what you're drinking today.
I'm drinking Prosecco
Uh-oh.
because I'm out of things that I like. I don't have any cider. I don't have any amaretto. I don't have any tonic to make a gin and tonic. And this was in the fridge, so I just popped it open.
There you go. Some days we must improvise. But so basically, who would be your what scenes or episodes? Let's do the cash or trash. What scenes or episodes were cash or trash for you, and what would you have wanted to see more of?
Oh. Annie, I'm going to come back to that question about, do I think all of these things are because what's happened in Olivia's life? I'm going to answer the cash and trash real quick. I don't think it's fair to accumulate all of those things, like Steven leaving, Harrison dying. I do think, sort of that's been part of Olivia's distance, but she also then chose to, what it seemed like at the end of season 4, be happy and embrace that. But I think she hit a really rough spot in season 5 where it got to a point where she was scared of going forward, because Olivia is one of those people who thinks about not what's to be gained, but fears what there is to be lost. And I think she started feeling like she was losing herself, because there's a world that she knows, and it is work, and it is gladiating, and it is being the boss and controlling and running shit. And when a different side of life was presenting it to herself, when she had to really be in this other role that seemed foreign to her, and as a woman who was brought up to think that First Lady is mediocre, don't forget that speech her father gave her in 301, and that domesticity is mediocre. Olivia has grown, I didn't say this in the Jake scene, has synonymized normalcy with mediocrity, and they're not the same thing. Yeah, Jake's vision of normal is mediocre for someone like her, but I'm sure for some other woman, that will be perfectly fine. And it's not a value judgment. It's about what you want and what you aspire to. And, Olivia is, Jake actually said one of the real things in this episode. See, I can give him credit. He said, dare to be normal, right? That is the hardest thing for her. The very first thing we heard, one of the first things we heard out of this woman's mouth in 101 was normal is overrated, right? So she acts like, her craziness is what's normal in her head. Right?
It's the norm. It's the norm for her, but what's normal for everybody else,
right,
is mediocre.
Yeah, that's mediocre. That's what, and it's overcoming the programming. So it's not just people leaving or dying, whatever. I think those things were relevant before, but Olivia has shut off this whole part of herself. And I really think, Shonda said that after Olivia's kidnapping, that she was never going to be the same again. And I don't expect Olivia to go back to some Olivia that she was. I expect Olivia to become the woman that she wants to be. And I really don't think that this is it. And I don't think she really thinks this is it. But maybe she has to go and taste this win in order to say, it still doesn't feel like enough. Okay. So for me... Oh, go ahead. Sorry. I was going to get back to the cash and trash.
No, go. Let's go to that cash and trash.
Okay.
Do your cash and trash.
One simple scene, Cash, that I actually really liked the the scene with David and
Lizzie,
where she was talking about that she's gonna vote for Vargas. She's like, I'm gonna go vote for Vargas, and I've been a Republican for forever. I don't believe in free. I don't believe in education. I have a golden retriever named Barry Goldwater.
But if I vote, you'll win.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So, and I thought, I was like, damn, she can't stand Melly for shit. She's going to vote for Vargas.
Seriously. My cash was Melly's, despite the fact that most of it was pure
trash,
make-believe. pure make believe. Her speech in the arena, it was a read and a half. It was very well written, very well, which actually was the turning point for Fitz in his acceptance of Olivia's.
Sorry, go ahead.
which was instrumental in his acceptance of Olivia's pregnancy and abortion, because I think some of the words that Melly said were true.
Yeah, some of them were.
And they hit a nerve, specifically the ones about him. Now, the ones where she said that he didn't earn the White House, blah, 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 and all that stuff. Well, bitch, neither did you.
Right,
so
and
shut
you participated in that shit, and you didn't.
You participated. You participated in it, and you're the one that put him in the situation to not to have earned it. And then, of course, again, it also again was not his fault that your son got murdered. It was just some megalomaniac who decided that was what he wanted to do to get back at Fitz.
And make his daughter win, because
right,
she has to carry on the.
And flashing back to that, I go back and forth between trying to decide whether or not he was literally talking about Olivia or whether he was talking about B613 when he said he took my child, so I took his. And I'm honestly been on the fence on that for a while, and then I literally go, he was talking about B613, because this is like there's no evidence that he really cares that damn much about Olivia. He cares more about B613 to me than he does about Olivia.
Yeah, I remember writing about this. It said Rowan doesn't have any regard for Olivia as a person, only as a possession, like a reflection of him,
right,
and what she needs to achieve, because he treats her like an object. He doesn't treat her like a person.
He literally called her the thing that he made.
Yeah,
so
thing, my child, the thing that I made.
The thing that I made, the thing that I created.
Right. And that's my girl at the end of this episode.
2
episodes after you said, I don't have a daughter, and that you are no longer my daughter, and then you told her that Jake was the real talent in the family. You motherfucker. Yes!
Yay! And she took my advice. She put on her hat.
Can you hear
me?
We can.
Yes, we
Move
can
the
hear
camera
you.
down a little bit. We're getting a lot of ceiling. We want a little bit more of you.
There you go. Yes, that's better.
I had to switch to my tablet. My laptop didn't want to do it. So anyway,
okay.
This is my French
welcome.
Open hat. My French Open hat.
Welcome.
Next week. So.
Welcome.
Advertising. So we're just doing cash and trash. We're on cash.
What were your cashes and trashes?
Oh, let's see.
I have another cash though when you're
done. Okay. Cash. Oh, certainly that scene with Olivia, who looked absolutely horrified when Jake proposed that house. We were all over the place. I know. Well, we probably trashed this like the last 2 nights, but I mean, absolutely. I mean, I keep thinking like, my girl wears, Prada and La Perla, and she doesn't shop at Target or at Costco. She doesn't shop at all. And Jake has been in her bed, in her house, recuperating at least twice. And he hasn't figured out that they're, totally different classes. But, I think, Katrina, you and I talked about it, and I don't know if this is the place to raise it, but I definitely think it also bothers me because it's part of, white male privilege that really doesn't see that there are Black people who are definitely of a different economic class than you are, and that that they deserve their
everything.
I'm telling you, they deserve and they're entitled and they've earned things that you really don't know anything about. So just leave her. Let live be live. And I even love that Shonda, even though she wrote it, she tweeted that. Yep, Jake doesn't know Olivia.
Like, you don't know this girl. Yeah.
So. Yeah,
Olivia is a 1%er.
She really is. So that was definitely my cash. And I sort of liked the
Exactly, Annie. He would never suggest Vanessa live like that. She will punch him in his goddamn face. But that's supposed to be okay for Olivia because love? Shut up.
and I actually liked the scene where Jake killed his father-in-law because it just reinforced that this man has not changed. Jake is still beyond evil. He is beyond despicable.
He is
at
still
least Sai
to Jake. And don't tell me that Jake, Jake being this cold-hearted killer is just because of Rowan. When I saw 518 and the flashbacks to his childhood, why do you think they have this little kid playing guns with soldiers and shooting them and being like, "Doosh, I kill you" and stuff? I'm like, there's a little bit of that thing in this little boy, and I know that's a normal kind of activity, but he could have been playing with dump trucks. He could have been doing anything as a child. But this little kid liked guns. He liked that whole fighting and combat thing. He wanted to be in the military, maybe partly also to give him a sense of power and respect and be like a man that he probably thought his father wasn't. But there seems to be a sort of like violent streak in this kid and liking violence. So for me, that doesn't just come from Rowan.
It doesn't come from programming
of your victims.
Yeah, because look at Huck. Even though Huck appears to be this like really nice, gentle, they found something in these guys. They found something in all this testing that they did. So it wasn't just like we made them because we picked them off the street. Because you got to have that in you. You don't grow that. You don't train that. You don't educate it. It's in you, so that the programming and the education takes. So that was really.
You got to have the natural talent that gets developed. Right.
Yes, I'm really. Well, what did I ask Sarah? I said, can you be a sociopath and a psychopath at the same time? And she said yes. And that's Jake.
She would know. She's a psychologist.
Yeah. I know.
Okay. Sorry, that was Jaha calling to check on us because she saw my tweets and my messages about having trouble.
Is she coming in?
No, she said this week is her daughter's birthday.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
cool.
That's right.
So they were out and about, and she saw the tweets, and so she was calling to see she thought it was because I couldn't log in. I'm like, no, it was beyond. It's well beyond that. And so, but I told her that you said that there were like that there are actually 6 things out there.
There are. I just trying to get in. That was what happened to me. So I ended up. I'm on my tablet. So.
Yeah.
I'm on my.
So it's
whatever.
Yeah, so something weird is going on. I don't know what it is, but so I'm sorry, where were we? Are we done with the cash and trash?
Cash and trash.
Cash and trash.
Enter one more cash.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta cash the OLED scene because I would have loved more of that.
Yes.
It was hard, but it was also, Yvonne, we've talked about this, that it was, we realized what we were missing from this back half. And it's that grounded emotionality that the show, for me, really balances the show out and allows you to be able to enjoy it, even though it's a show that's been dabbling in darkness since the 5th episode of the first, season. And that has been all but missing for the most part.
Absolutely.
And it's not necessarily about Olivia and Fitz's romantic relationship. It is about their interaction with each other. And the less they interact, for me, the less there is of that light. Even when they argue, it's still like a powerful moment. Jake and Olivia never had that. They never will have that. They are not that part of the show. And Fitz reminds us that Olivia is a person because that's how he sees her. He asks about her well-being. He wants to make sure she's okay and she sits or she slows down. And so in that moment, like, that's how we get it. I think Ijoma called it a raindrop, in a thirsty desert. And and that's how I felt. And I thought, God, can we have more of this next season? Because if I'm going to be getting all of this Melly and Jake, like if she wins, I need something promising. I need something.
Yeah, I think, and we have talked a lot about that because they are an emotional core, and there really was, and that was the problem with this finale. There really was no emotional center, and I think we likened it to. I think we were talking about this morning, but we likened it to what 401, where all they really had, right? All they had emotionally was that pinky, bend towards each other walking down the hall. But it was everything.
It was everything.
It was absolutely everything, and what was a devastating, return. And so, and we haven't had any of that in this back half at all. And so, and I think we're starved for those encounters. And some of the reviewers who, I don't even know who they are half the time, but a couple of them have really said that what they realized was missing is that whenever they're together, there is, that chemistry, regardless of if they're arguing or not agreeing, that the chemistry and the things they do together as actors is so compelling that it centers you in the show.
Yeah,
and
it's magic.
Nobody's saying, hey, look, it's a love story. I mean, we aren't saying all that. We know it's Olivia's journey. It always has been. We know Olivia is not perfect. She never has been, but
people want her to be, though.
Oh, well, I mean,
I don't.
Look, there's enough melodrama in that show for everybody. But the fact, like I think, Katina, you said this morning that, look, from day one, she had a baby in a box, and was selling the baby, and blackmailing people and, negotiating out of her ass. I mean, come on. She's never been a role model, but she's been a compelling person. And that's what, that's what you want in good melodrama. And we all know, I mean, but she's been so clearly the anti-hero in this, and I never really, and I've never in this back half. I mean, there's always aspects of that, but this is the first time I've been real clear that she's been the anti-hero in these last few episodes. So
definitely no buts about it.
Yep.
And and in order for her to come out on the other side, she has to take that journey. And it's just troublesome to me that people can't accept change. It shit happens. Shit happens to people. And
you mean the fandom, or you mean
the fandom?
The show, the
fandom. Yeah. It's like people. I mean, real people change. So why can't a fictional character change? It just doesn't make sense to me that you watch reality TV, but you can't take reality.
Like reality TV is reality.
You can't take reality in your fiction. I mean, if you can deal with all the craziness, if you can deal with all the craziness and all the changes that people go through on reality TV, then you can take some changes in your fictional television and get over it.
I think
reality TV these days is faker than fiction.
It's fake. It's fake. It is. It's faker than fiction. And people, and like I said, half those people aren't who they say they are on the TV. And what they do when you see them in person is all a show anyway. So what are you?
It's all performance.
Right. It's performance art. And they're getting paid for it. So it's not reality if you're getting paid for it. I'm sorry. What?
It's constructed reality.
Mm-hmm.
No, nothing. I just wanted to make sure I answered Annie's question there about season 6. I think she's saying more of the that emotionality and a little bit of life. I really hope so, Annie. I think that because Shonda never does these things really neatly where she wraps up a season and they just completely break to another thing. Sometimes storylines like overlap into the middle of something and you really don't find out information for like 20 episodes about something. That's just the way it works. So I am hoping that there is more of that, because for me that scene in with Olitz was really an opening, not a closing. I saw somebody on Tumblr who was asked the question, why do you think she is a rampant anti-Fitz hater and pro Olaker. Anyway, that she thinks that it was to close out the relationship and to kind
She's
of,
a pro Laker.
she's a pro Laker. Yeah, a pro Laker.
Excuse me.
Send it on its way. And I just think, no, it's the opposite. That's an opening
Mhm.
there for what I hope is what
Right.
I've been wanting since season 4 is like this friendship, because they really are each other's person. And Fitz has been the one predominantly asking and caring about Olivia as a person this back half and asking about her, in contrast to her father. But also that the divulging for Fitz to work through and find out about the abortion, work through it, accept it, and then lend her support, even though Olivia doesn't realize that that's what he was doing. That was more for us as the audience.
Oh, I think she did. I think she did. That's why she was like, she couldn't even function. She couldn't even address it. She knew what he was talking about. She was just like,
I don't know that she knew what he was talking about, because she told Abby the last episode, he doesn't know, no one knows. She doesn't know that he found out. I think that's why Abby wanted to come in the room so badly to make sure that Fitz didn't say anything to her, because she wasn't supposed to know. And I think Olivia's mind was so focused on Jake and that whole thing. I think she thought something was up, like, why is he being on this? I don't know that she would have jumped to that thought automatically.
No, because he made it more pointed at the end when he said, I
support your choice.
I support your choice.
Not that you.
Yeah,
know,
it was.
But,
Yeah,
and I think, and I think her reaction was like,
what?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, it was like one of those,
Yeah.
like your mind trying to process the shit. Like no. Mm-mm.
Well, Langston,
can't be
I agree. I agree with you. I mean, my immediate response was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe he said that." We know what he meant, and
Right.
And that's absolute. We know that's what he meant. But I actually thought she got it, but that she was so. But I think she was so in the zone about, because she came in there prepared for this fight, right? About Jake.
Right.
So like her mind was stuck on, you know, not quite on. It's narrowed. Her vision is like right into that tunnel about, okay, he's going to argue, but he didn't get that, and he got all this other stuff, and a few things happened, but then he said that, and he said that when she's walking out the door,
right?
And so I think it's in her head, because you notice she, just like how she processed with Abby in the last episode, where she said you had more than, and you weren't telling, and it took, she saw it, you saw her mind working, and it happened later. And I think when that laser light focus starts to relax, she's going to figure it out. Much like, the stuff with Defiance, a few things had to happen before she figured out,
for her
oh
to
my
figure
God,
it out.
Right.
But
He knows about Defiance.
She doesn't know that that's the thing, but she knew, I think, that there was more to the statement, but her mind was not in there. And yes, Annie reminds us that Tom Barrica confirmed that she does not know, like, that scene.
That's the way he directed it, but we don't know how Shonda's going to let it play out. Because her response, because, I mean, she could have, I don't even know if that look she gave him was the look that she gave him during that scene. And because it could have been edited a different way. Yeah.
And you know what? And come to think of it,
you know what I think it is?
I agree with you.
Something more beyond like what he was talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know that she landed on the abortion in that moment, because her mind was just
that's what I was saying. So
because like I said, now I agree with you, because now thinking back on the scene and the fact that she was there to talk about Jake, when he said, I support your choice, not that you needed it. She was, right. Yeah. So, but we knew, you're right. Yeah. We knew what he meant, but she was like, okay.
You know what?
And I also think
that was for us.
I also think that she was taken aback on his agreeability, period. Because especially in the
completely,
especially in the previous scene where Abby calls her and says, and he agreed to everything. Yeah, and he's like, what? What? Yeah. So then that's why she shows up to say, okay, let's see if he agrees to Jake. And so then when she goes in there, he's like, yeah.
Langston,
but
but you make a very good point that, people who watch this show really should understand
mhm,
that we're the audience and we know a lot of stuff that the characters don't know. And so,
Mhm.
mhm,
I mean, this is what happens in fiction. You know things, the characters don't know it. So for all these crazy
mhm,
people who talk about, oh, the plot is full of holes and blah, blah, blah. And how does
mhm.
this person not
Well,
know this?
here's
Because we're the
this.
audience. That's why you
This is
don't know it. So,
this is the issue that I've always had with audience for this show
mhm.
is that there is unspoken dialogue.
Yeah.
And what people don't like to do, is actually put the pieces together. They want everything to be spoon-fed to them. And that's not this show. That is not this show. This show has never been a spoon-fed show.
They give you some
There are
slaps.
there are so,
Yeah.
there are so many different elements to it. There are moments where people go into rooms and have conversations. We don't know what those conversations are until maybe 3 or 4 episodes later,
Right.
or maybe even in that
Or
same
20.
episode
Yep.
because we saw that happen with Papa and Cyrus.
Well, how about
There was a
the
a
fact?
full-fledged
Yeah,
there was a conversation that took
that we
place
don't
that
know.
culminated in what happened at the end of the finale.
Yeah, they do that.
Because
They do that little
that
thing a
did
lot, don't they?
right.
Yeah.
That didn't just come out of nowhere. You have to put those pieces together. You have to remember Papa went into a room, into a enclosed room with Cyrus and laid out this entire plan with him. We
Sure.
just didn't see it coming until the end, but we knew they had a conversation. And when you think about that conversation that they had, then you also connect that to the conversation that Cyrus went and had with Olivia,
With Olivia, right.
because that was all a setup. That
Yeah.
was all him laying out the breadcrumbs for her.
Oh yeah.
One thing that
Take
totally
care of his
bothered
problems
me.
so he could get in there.
Right. And one of the things that bothered me about that confrontation, and it was like, I don't know whether to call it cash or trash, but the scene when the dialogue when he said, that should be me and you competing for the Oval. It should be me and you competing for the Oval.
He said the master and the student.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you could have said teacher, you could have said professor, but that was purposeful.
Master.
That was purposeful. I'm
Wait a
not
minute,
saying
he didn't say mentor. Did he say mentor?
no, he didn't say mentor.
No,
He said master.
Yeah.
And that was, and I'm
Yeah.
just saying that I'm not saying it was purposeful on the character's part. That was purposely written the way that it was written for a reason.
Oh, it would be so on, and I'm sure in her mind this shit is on, So, but you know what? The other piece, though, Langston, before we move on to something else, is when we talk about what we as viewers know, what happens with the characters behind closed doors, and the other part is that I love it where they say, God, these people don't do anything. I'm like, wait a minute. Do you guys realize that you see a slice of these people's lives? I mean, do you think
Exactly.
their whole day is spent? Their whole day is spent worrying about, where is Olivia?
Yeah.
Where is, what is so-and-so doing? No, they work,
right.
That's implied,
And
people.
And I'm aware that we only see slivers and slices of these people's lives, but I'll be damned if I haven't seen Jake not one single damn time go into an office, go to work, do anything. So I'm still trying to figure out, like I said earlier, how the fuck did Jake go from captain to admiral?
Oh, he got,
we know
gave him a promotion.
We know how he got to NSA director because he killed somebody for the position.
Jake and David are the most mediocre white men on this show that just keep on climbing.
What did we call them? I called them. I said they were. This morning I wrote they are tools. They are both friggin' tools. It drives me
because David. Because David was about to be used again. I mean, I would have to say, well, he's kind of been getting used from day one.
Olivia used him
from the minute we met him when she tapped on his door. And said she needed a favor, and he's like, "We are not friends." Blah blah blah.
When he met her for the first time, yeah.
Well, when we met him for the first time, because they clearly had a friendship relationship.
She introduced herself to him. No, she introduced herself to him.
Mhm.
early in season 1, I think the first time she went to see him about something.
But remember, he
Yeah.
knew who she was. He
He
knew
knew
who she was.
Yeah, he
No,
knew
no,
who
Right.
no.
she was.
Remember, they met. Remember, they met way back when Olivia was working
Right.
for Cyrus's
Right.
firm. Remember
They
the
knew
302
they knew
flashback?
each other.
That's when she met
Oh,
him.
okay,
They knew each
yeah.
other.
That's true.
They knew
That's
each
true.
other. Yeah. I think not. She wasn't so much introducing herself, or she was reminding him of who she was.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, I know who you are, but I'm still the the district attorney at the time, or the ADA. He was an ADA at the time.
No, assistant district attorney.
Yeah, ADA.
He was an ADA.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You can come back and watch the replay, Annie. But thanks for coming in. But yeah. How do like I said, I get that we get to see slivers of people's lives, but the majority of what we've seen of Jake for the past 2 seasons is not just the back half, but season 4. Season 4, he was busy.
He had no job.
He had no job. Matter of fact, wasn't he living in a 1-bedroom apartment at one point?
He was living
in the front end.
He was
living in one back in season 4. Then he had that little tacky, corporate housing looking thing in the front of season 5. But how many members only jackets does that man own?
and apparently at some point within, because I'm assuming that he probably got evicted. That he got evicted while he was trying to find Olivia. Because I'm like, how do we go from you having a 1-bedroom apartment to living with Papa Pope? Why didn't you just go home?
Yeah, and I'm a little this is here. Jake as head of the NSI really strain. I mean, look, a lot of things strain credibility, but that really strains credibility because I know who the head of the NSA is. I'm sorry, NSI. Yeah, I know who the head of the NSA is now. But do you ever see them? Never. I mean, they are so covert, trying to keep things quiet on the down low, sneaking into the president's office. I mean, who is it? Susan Rice. Isn't she head of the NSA now? And you don't see those people. So Jake is, and this man, and what, can't he stay away from Rowan's house? I mean, it just drives me crazy. And I really want to. Didn't that man's wife? Didn't her father-in-law just die?
I'm with Vanessa.
No, you guys are breaking up for me.
What?
I'm with Vanessa. We're breaking up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Are we moving? Can you see us moving?
You're moving. You're not a JPEG.
Yeah. So that's my big gripe about the fact that we never see him go to work, but yet he's talking about, I was passing by this house every day. What office are you going to, Jake? What office are you going to? I just want to know.
It's a secret. Nobody knows where the NSA is.
Right.
So,
Right.
He said it was a house on Euclid, and I was like, "Wait a minute."
Where is that in Southwest?
I don't know if he said it was a house on Euclid or right by a school on Euclid, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's my high school." If they're talking about part of Euclid that I know.
And Jake wants to move. Jake wants to move right across the street.
Wouldn't be able to get into that school.
Oh man, I just looked at something. I mean, these people are going off on Facebook about Olivia role model and how dare they and all this other crazy stuff. This is so sad.
Not everybody.
So sad.
Even your. My thing is even your role models aren't your role models. Stop it.
Please,
I mean, come on.
Please,
have the people that
being a role model is the human thing because it just turns you into the fiction and the fantasy of whatever the person who is looking up to you want. Yeah, and it's not about your life and what you want. It's about what you want.
And who wants a character? Who wants a character to be a role model? I mean,
how about?
I was just tweeting about this earlier. Like, people need to stop making adult fictional characters in adult shows role
Role
model
models.
for
Yeah.
you.
How
And if you're a
how
grown
about
ass woman, don't expect that either.
how about they need to stop making humans role models? Period. I'm sorry, but
Boom.
OJ
It's true.
OJ Simpson was a role model at one point.
Yep.
Hello.
Yep.
See what happened? See what happened? So stop trying to
Because
make
role
try.
models aren't real.
Oh,
They're
Bill
not.
Cosby.
They're
Bill Cosby
they're
was a role model.
role models are PR creations.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's
and
like
They're fictions.
if you
They're
ask any
inventions.
one of
it's
those
like
people in real life, none of them want to be role models. They said, "I never put
right,
myself up to be a role
right.
model."
And
You can,
that's why
you can't possibly live up to that. You
right.
know,
And that's why
I mean,
a lot of people are always disappointed when they meet their celebrity favorite because they're usually not what you expected. So it's like
yeah,
you've
not very
created
nice. Some of them.
you've created a reality for them based off of a persona that was created for
Mhm.
them for television,
Yeah,
and that's who you're expecting to meet, and that's not who they are. They are
yeah,
actors,
Yeah.
they are performers, they are athletes, they are whatever, and they are still human beings. And when they walk outside, they don't need you in their face talking about give me
it's
your autograph. Not just give me, but not asking for it, but give me. Give
Yeah.
it
I
to me.
But that
know.
you're
Oh, I know.
entitled to it.
You're
I know.
entitled to it. You're not entitled to these people. They're human beings just like you. You would be offended if somebody accosted you at your car and say, "Hey, can I touch your car?
Yeah,
Hey,
really.
can I touch your hair?" No, you would be offended by that. And so
And you know,
therefore,
and this is
just
really, I mean, I know we're kind of going off away from the story, but I
yeah,
think
but
there's so much about scandal and where it stands in popular culture. I mean, for God's
mhm,
sake, she's been, Tony Golden was on Joy Reid this morning, which is fabulous. And I mean, and everybody's and he was on. They were on. I think the other ones were on Miss Melissa Harris Perry. She used to talk about the show all the time when she had it, but where it stands in American culture, and of course Katrina could say this better than anybody, it's very important because it's changed. I mean, it's really changed the way people start to see things about what
Mhm.
happens in, or what can happen in character development, and also the impact of social media
Yeah.
and what people are really thinking, and forcing them to confront some ideas or thoughts that they had that they didn't have. I mean, that's one of the reasons I love that Tony Goldwyn interview where he talked about how even though he was pro-choice, he realized that he wasn't looking at it from a perspective of somebody else. He was only looking at it as a male, he said, possibly chauvinist perspective, and that it shook him that when Shonda said to him, well, why shouldn't she? It was her body, her choice. And that to many people is a slogan until they're confronted with it. So I'm just very pleased, and sure, I'm disappointed the way some of the things happened in the storyline, but I'm glad it's continuing. I'm here for it to
mhm,
continue. And because even for the little tiny truths that keep getting revealed, that that she does manage to throw in there, many times, like you were talking, Katrina, about the twice as good kind of thing, which we've heard all our lives. And then the other thing about, well, don't let too many people know how good you are. And yet, what are one of the things that Olivia does all the time? I'm the best. I'll live and breathe, that stuff she said in the campaign, and I'll always do this. And that's like owning herself, owning what her capabilities are. And that is something that's so counter to what so many Black kids are told. Don't be putting yourself up there. You need to be humble. You need to be grateful. And she's never humble, never grateful. And I like
mhm,
seeing
Right.
that.
Or
And
be
I think
humble. Yeah.
or be humble, and
mhm,
but yet people want Shonda to be that way.
mhm,
Oh, she need to be
Oh,
humble,
she does. I
Yeah,
see people all the time making fun
yeah,
of essentially using the Titan as a derogatory term because she
yeah,
used that in her TED Talk, which I thought was a very powerful TED Talk. And I really hope that how things turn out for Olivia sort of go along
hmm
those lines, where Olivia discovers that the real power, the real hum of life is love, not this other shit.
sure,
Like, if you have to define yourself by your work, then you are lost, honey. Like that's
Yep.
that's not a good look, and that's all she has right now.
Mhm.
But we'll see how it plays out in
Yep.
season 6. But people want Shonda to be apologetic. She wants her
Yeah.
to. People want her to apologize for what she's done, or not living up to their expectations, or she should be more black, or she should be more this. And I just feel like you guys need to let black artists do what they want to do and accept the fact that you're not going to always agree with them. And as a black person who is an artist, they don't owe you anything. I was
Nothing.
retweeting tweets from someone I love, Rodimus Prime, who's one of the hosts from the Black Guy Who Tips podcast
Mhm.
I
Oh,
highly
yeah.
recommend. And he was
Yeah.
talking about the double bind of blackness and how we make it so hard for black artists, black movies, or just so hard and unthinkable to be black
Mhm.
in the entertainment
Yeah.
industry, because you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Like, it's even sometimes before you start, like, it's like nothing is ever good enough.
Mhm.
Oh, my nephew is a hard rocker. I mean, he plays in a rockabilly band in the South, okay? And he plays drums. Do you know how much shit he gets from black folks because he
Mhm.
plays that kind of music? And he
Mhm.
likes all kinds of music, but that's what he does,
Right.
So why do we, we're all kinds of different people across the spectrum, with
Right.
different tastes. That don't make you less black.
Right.
What's the litmus test for
Why
that?
It just-
somebody
it just-
really
I mean,
amp this up?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it makes you more of a person. And why does it always have to be about your skin color? I mean, your skin color does not dictate what music you listen to. It doesn't dictate
Yeah.
what TV shows you watch. It just, yes, well, in some ways it dictates, because yes, we want to see ourselves. We want to see ourselves
Sure.
reflected. We want to see ourselves reflected on TV. But all of the shows that I watch are not black shows.
But across the
All
spectrum,
the-
we want to see ourselves
And the
in
thing,
all kinds of situations,
and at
not
the end,
just
right. And at the end of
there.
the day, if it was all about your taste in music or movies being black or white, then we would be ass out in terms of going to see movies half the time. Because if we specifically didn't go to movies because they weren't black enough, then we would just be sitting at home.
Yeah.
So
Can we get to the Melly?
but yeah, let's do
Katrina said
let's
she was going to go all over on Melly speech today. We're waiting for you,
real quick,
Katrina.
real quick before we start delving deep into some of the stuff that we really want to delve into. What was your MVP for this episode? Who was your MVP for this episode?
Gosh.
I really don't have one.
I'll tell
I don't.
you who mine was. Mine was Tom. Tom was my MVP for this episode because Tom had gone out. He had found Ella. He had found Michael, and he was ready to take him out. And it's like, and then you got to see that there is really a tender side to Tom. And it's like, and no matter how you slice it, no matter how people are so shocked that Tom turned out to be gay, whatever, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, they finally let us see a softer side of Tom, and that's why Tom is my MVP.
Well, I
I
think Tom will be whatever he needs to be. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Tom will be whatever he needs to be. Gay, bi, whatever.
But no, But I really think he genuinely cared about Sai, because when he dumped him in that hallway, that look on his face was like a combination of sorrow.
Because everybody in the Scandalverse is looking for someone who understands them, or with whom they feel comfortable, or they feel at home. Everyone is trying to. I think a lot of people are trying to make a home out of somebody, and if you even look at Melly and Marcus, Marley. I really think that relationship is going to go sideways. Mark my word, for season 6. But because Melly's too much of a narcissist,
I think that's obvious.
Frankly, Marcus deserves better. But I think even Melly sort of appreciated that someone was able to tell her something who didn't have a history with her, tell her something about herself, but also listened and appreciated her and encouraged her. I don't know if it goes beyond that, because Melly loves anybody who lavishes her with praise and softens when that happens. Fitz has done it. He knows how to get her to back down. She loved that about Andrew when he was doing it, and now Marcus is doing it. I don't know how much it goes beyond there, but I feel like she needs a friend, and I'm glad that she has one. Because
Marcus was a little more harsh than either Fitz or Andrew off the bat. Now we've seen Fitz be who he is based on their past. They were already in that mess by the time we met them. That back and forth,
but Marcus doesn't have a history
thing.
With her,
but
so she could accept it.
Exactly, and that's why I think that she has never had anybody snap on her like that before, and that's why she was so taken aback by it, and and let's just be blunt, made her nipples hard.
Okay.
I don't want to think about Melly's nipples.
Nope, me neither. Or her wigs.
But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, that's what happened, and and whether or not they go forward with that, because they hinted at it with an almost kiss, but we'll see where they take it. But
I have an MVP.
I honestly hope it doesn't. Take. Who's your MVP?
I actually want to give a season MVP to I can't give it for this episode, but really this is a second half of the season MVP. And I'm sorry, it goes to my boo, Fitzgerald Grant, because
I do.
He has been growing beautifully this past half of the season, and being introspective and trying to come to terms with himself and facing himself. And it's been, while still being concerned about Olivia, but sort of not pushing himself on her, not, respecting that distance and all of that, but still caring about her as a person, but also trying to come to grips with the things about himself that perhaps need to change, and trying to actually be a better person. And for me, that is one of the bravest things ever, because it is hard to do. And a lot of people keep running and doing because slowing down would mean that they would have to think. And if they have to think and reflect, then that means they have to do something and change and be different. And that is scarier than, sometimes anything for people. So I really applaud what they have done with that character this season. And I applaud him for really facing himself. So for me, he is the MVP of this back half, and even this episode for me.
Yeah, that's what Brown Shay said.
But you know what?
That's what she said. Brown Shay.
Oh, is she? Okay.
Yeah, she said he was and I agree with her too. I hadn't thought about it, and I like what I've liked about anytime, even with the crazy Melly rant, Fitz he seems to have found something. No matter what anybody says to him, that seems to be emotionally driven.
Don't do that, Katrina. I thought you fell.
He seems. Pull your phone back up.
The way it went back, it looked like you fell back, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
But
did she fall off? Did she fall off the back of her couch?
No, but he takes whatever anybody says and says, okay, is there something in there that I really do need to consider? And you see it doing that, with
he
that
processes.
Shit. Yeah, he does. He actually does.
Right. And jeez. And speaking of that stop and think situation, that's exactly what has happened to Cyrus's character. He had that time away from the White House, because if you notice, Cyrus is not as vicious as he used to be, and all that transition came during that period when he was out of the White House, and because as I was watching last night, I was like, I can't put my finger on it, but something's different.
He's got better hair.
Something is different.
He's got better hair.
Yeah, that's it. But you know what? He has, because he did tell Tom, I've mellowed out, and he has mellowed out.
I mean, that scene with them talking on the bed where he just said, I can talk to you about these things, but basically, like, I don't want my kid to be around somebody who is like a murderer like me. So, and I think the fact that he's sensitive, that he really does believe in Vargas, that he's like, he's the real
Yeah,
deal. Like
there's
he thought Fitz,
a transition.
Fitz was the real deal, and
A
Yeah,
transition
yeah,
has happened.
yeah. So,
he does.
but
And can I just
yeah,
say that the last episode, I meant to say that when Olivia sat down with him and she's like, "Oh my God, you're a believer." All
yeah,
that did for me was emphasize how much Olivia isn't a
is
believer.
not.
Like she's
Yeah,
not a believer.
yeah,
And she says she thinks that Melly will make a great president. It's like, you're just like, she's your conduit back to where you think you need to be, which, fine, whatever. But like, for me, I don't believe Melly Grant would make a great president. All the shit that
Nobody
she said to
does.
Fitz and that.
Yeah,
No,
nobody.
nobody does, except these
Yeah.
like people who think that Melly has been Fitz's victim and that all she needed to be great was to not be married to him anymore. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, she
Right.
wasn't married to him when she missed 27% of the votes on the Senate, and she wasn't married to him to want to kill like Medicare. Like
Yeah,
they've never
yeah.
been politically compatible because Melly is terrible, like politician. But we'll see
Well,
what happens. But mark my words, day one, if she becomes president, this bitch will be complaining about being president. Mark my words, because everybody thinks it's going to be different for them, and it won't. And they
of
won't
course not. Yeah.
recognize what Fitz has really done or had to endure, or his legacy until he leaves the White House, because that's how it happens for every president.
Sure.
Like people
Yeah.
aren't going to fully appreciate the Obama era until the next president is in. And God damn it, if it's Donald Trump, y'all gonna be crying real tears and act
Now we're
like
gonna come
Obama
live
was
with
the
you.
Messiah.
I'm telling you, I still need for you to send me some real estate papers from the UK.
I'm telling you, we will be gone.
And do you guys have Uber over there?
We do, yeah.
Y'all have Uber. All right, as long as you got Uber over there, I'm coming. I'm coming. Because Lord Jesus, no, I can't.
But I'm glad they dispatched with Hollis the way that we wish Donald Trump would have been dispatched.
Yeah.
with,
Exactly. But
so that was very.
but everything that they've tried, it just keeps. I don't even know if this is even really a scandal, but that whole mess about him from the last decade when he was playing his own publicist on the phone, because anybody with any good sense can hear that voice and know that that's him.
Yeah, that was a mess.
But
it doesn't matter if his voters think he's hangs the moon, so, and that he's going to shake things up.
Yeah.
They have no idea.
Well,
But
he'll probably try to hang a few other things if we let him.
so where are we?
We should say our trash. We didn't say our trash.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is there any
trash.
question?
Yeah, you know what? Trash for me, and it's like, trash for me was just Jake in the garage with Olivia. Yeah. And trying to be all indignant, but in watching it again, I realized, you know what, Olivia, this is tantamount. This season is tantamount to every episode that Olivia was duped by a client. It's like, it just feels like every time Papa Pope does this, it's like she's being duped by a client all over again. It's like you think you're doing one thing to beat him, and he's actually outplaying you every time. I need for her to step her game up.
The difference time is
it's
that
time.
she really believes that this is what she wants and the way like it has to be done, or that she believes that she's won, which is, it's kind of different to what happened in 318. Like that's the difference now is that she's kind of actually embraced this instead of felt like she lost and had to retreat. She feels like she's a victor. What I noticed, I rewatched, because I rewatched 501 today, and then I watched 521 right after, because I was trying to think about what are the full circle moments here. And there were two that stood out to me. One is at the end of 501 when the news drops about Olivia being in the White House and, the relationship with Fitz, is that Olivia is kind of caught in the headlights and she's like a victim. like in the next episode, she feels like she's being hunted and no, she's the victim and people are after her and all this thing. And she goes from that to the end of this episode, she feels like the victor because she says, he said, one of us is getting into the White House and it's going to be me, right? So that's like the full circle moment. And the other thing is the finding out about the pregnancy, the abrupt end to a pregnancy. The princess was pregnant in the first episode. And she died in a car crash and she was pregnant. It wasn't his baby, but the prince, you know, sort of found out about that stuff as well. And we have Fitz coming to deal with that. And the whole royal issue of the prince, he's the prince, the whole double entendre of Sally's words in the first episode with Olivia and Fitz, like as the prince and the princess, and finding out about the princess ending her pregnancy rather than having it ended for her. That's the kind of full circle moment of 501 to First 2 or 521. I don't know why I brought that up. I forgot what that was connected.
Well, are we summing up? What is this? 251. So
no, it was. We were supposed to do trash, and I was trying to remember why you said trash for the parking lot. And I know
for the garage scene.
The last scene with all the flashes of Rowan and him saying the things that he'd said in the past to Olivia, and then that's my girl. Trash for me because the title was predictable along with the episode because he's the one that said that's my girl. He said it as recently as 518.
Yeah, he said it
down from
2 episodes
those
ago,
eggs.
Right.
And I knew it was gonna be him, and I didn't want it to be him because I thought if it's not him, then it could be something surprising. But as predictable as ever, it was him. Olivia playing exactly being exactly the person that he wants to be. She's still not free, and she's still not. You know, she's living the dreams of her father and what he wanted her to be. And that's why I say she's not a person. She's a programmed like bot.
Right. And I'm just trying to figure out, you know what the thing is that she may actually just run for president because that would be the smartest move for her at this point. And I think that's what he's pushing her towards. I think that's what he's pushing her towards.
You know, everybody else has, right? God.
I think she's just that stubborn. I think she's just that stubborn that she probably would just step over everybody else and just say, you know what? Run your own campaign. I'm running mine. I'm going to run.
I do have trouble. I mean, I'm really, a few episodes ago, I really thought that her wanting the White House and all that was, a way that, her failure to really articulate that she wanted the White House the way she had it, where she had access to Fitz. Okay. Because and I don't mean the romantic way, because I know we've talked about this, Katrina, but what's sustainable in their relationship. I mean, sex, right? Good, hot romance. That's cool. But what's sustainable is their relationship and their respect for each other and the way they understand each other's issues and can, put all the information together to come up with the solution. Like he said, this is what he missed. I missed us. I missed being able to talk to you. And so I'm struggling with what the hell does she think she's going to get the White House? I mean, is it this is at this point, is this amorphous concept because she'll never have what she thought she had before. And that was that access to that level of power through Fitz. She didn't have it without
He
it.
is the White House.
He is the White House
without him.
Is she still,
right? What she said. And she doesn't know a White House without him.
Without him.
She doesn't.
So what does she think she's going to get with
so she's mistaken about what the power was. She thinks it's the White House. But if she gets back there, what she will discover, it's like what Melly said in 305. It's not the job. It's doing the job without him. Their relationship had always muddled this politics and passion and love. And I don't think she sees that yet because he's not completely out of the picture in that way. So being so close to it when she was there, the high of it, she thinks, isn't him, that the high of it was the place and the work. That's what she told to act.
Okay.
She missed the pace
I
of
just,
the political
I just,
I missed the
you don't know
right.
what that is without him. So
I
how do
just,
you know that that's what you want?
Yeah.
I just want to address Tula Rosebud's statement that she thinks that the presidency is mediocre and Liv is the heir to command. What is command to the rest of the country? Nothing.
Nothing.
I mean,
Nobody knows about him.
it's nobody even knows what it is. So it's being the heir to something that nobody knows about. She wants the White House, but Jesus, like Katrina was saying, my mind was like all over the place in that moment. Like Katrina was saying, it's like, she thinks she wants the White House, but the White House isn't what made her powerful. It was the idea of running the country with the man that she loves. Now, what I could see is her doing the presidency and making him her first man. And that's where the power is. It's like she then has the command of the command. She then has the command of the country. She has the command of the country alongside the man that she loves. But this time she's in the power position and he's not.
Katrina.
Hi, baby. Sorry.
Wait a minute, you're big. My husband is sneaking in here and he's going, "Is that Katrina?" Like, yes, it's her.
Yes, me.
That's
I'm
her.
the one who steals your wife away. And
He said she's the one who steals me away. Oh.
Don't worry, my wife is jealous.
Well, tell him he could have came on and introduced himself.
Harold.
Said hello.
They said you could come on and introduce yourself.
He said no.
Like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Say hi, Bobo.
Which one is that?
Yeah, that would definitely be. I think that would be interesting, Tula. But
well, but something.
What about
Tula, one of the little affinity groups for Scandal I participate in, they've been saying that from the beginning, since B6, since that was revealed, that was her dad. They've been saying, oh yeah, Olivia's going to be command. They think that's the end game. And I'm indifferent. I don't really think so. But being command is a state of mind for her, not being her father.
She needs to be command of her life. That's what she
needs.
And she's not right now.
Because
she is, but she's not.
Because at the end of the day, command is a title.
Right.
Command is the title that he gave himself when he was running B613.
Right.
There is no B613 now, which is why he's trying to create something else. He's trying to create another source of power for himself. It's why he is. It is why he is funneling money through someone else's accounts, because it won't be noticed, because now she's a freaking billionaire. So now he can funnel as much money through her accounts and nobody will probably even be the wiser or even notice it, because it's so much damn money.
Right.
So yeah, command is not a thing. It's just a title.
Yep.
And it's and at the end of the day, it has become a state of mind. It has become a state of mind. And he's, and at the end of the day, she has to be in that mindset to be able to best her father.
No, that's
what Huck was telling her, is like, you cannot go in there like a whimpering ass talking about trying to take command. You have to be. You have to be command. You got to go in there like a gangster. And that's literally what he said.
Yeah.
And I think that that's useful, but Olivia is using it for the wrong ends. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, she needs to use that for herself. So I hope that the advice comes in handy, because, I was saying this, like, even last piece, and like, season, like the only way to best Rowan isn't to use the tools that he uses, you know. To quote Audre Lorde, the master's tools will never dismantle the master's house. Like, you can't use those same tools to beat a person. You have to use what you have, you know, as a woman, as a Black woman, that the only way to beat Rowan is to live your life unapologetically, not fearing him. You know, so when she goes in, she's like, yeah, do it. Do what you're going to do. I'm like, you need to use that for yourself. Like, that's how you become free. That's how you liberate yourself. Fuck Jake.
But if you really wanted to take him down, you should have brought your mama back.
Child, we waiting for mama.
She has to come back into
She
this
really
narrative.
does.
Yeah, she has to. Like,
she does.
If things go the way I think, I keep saying, oh, I'm planning to write about this, but I have an idea. Like, the motherless, Olivia is the motherless child. She has to have her mama come back into this narrative if she's going to realize her potential as a woman, as a Black woman, and what it is that she wants, because her life has been so dominated by these patriarchal forces, that in order to counter that, she needs the feminine. She needs the maternal. Yeah. And I really hope that starts to come back in season 6.
Well, and her mother, is the only one who's really, you know, even in her short scenes, has said these really incisive, truthful things about her. Yeah. She hasn't seen her mother for 20-something years, but she knew, knew Rowan, Eli.
But her mother can read.
She's the only one that's bested him. Right?
Right. And her mother can read her for who she is, because she sees everything about herself and everything about Eli in Olivia.
Yep. Exactly. The best
hell, she was with the man
that ever happened in the season finale of season 4 at the jail, when Maya gave her that read. And she said, the problems you create so you can solve them, so you can feel important. Yeah. And I thought, that is it. That is
it really is.
That is what she does. The chaos you create so you can feel, you know, important. And like, I really examined that, and I thought, yeah. And even in 409, when she said to her, you know, you need to move on. And she does. Instead of being obsessed with your father, he's ruined you, and he has, and we see it now. The reason why she's been the way she has been this season is because she has gone back to the thing that she knows, the man that she knows, the force, the programming that she knows. She has retreated back into that bathroom to feel safe, and then that includes the kind of extension of Jake as that kind of sexual element of the dirty bathroom, but that she knows, the darkness that she knows. And she is still obsessed and in that carousel. She's on the record player going around and round and round and round in this world. And there is no freedom here. The thing that is different is that this time she thinks it's what she wants. She thinks it's the thing that she needs to do in order to feel powerful again, because she is ultimately the one responsible for her impotence.
Yes.
And that's what, that was one of the first things brought up in 510, right? Was impotence. Yes. And we saw two impotent people getting together, attempting to feel powerful through sex. Jake and Olivia.
Yep. Absolutely.
And it's not working.
Nope. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it? Tula says, what did she say? When is Maya going to be a loving mother? Never. I don't think that's ever
Girl,
gonna happen.
you got it.
Yeah. I mean, she ain't going to. She may drop some truth and all that kind of stuff, but she ain't never gonna be a loving mother.
I mean, that's like asking, when is Eli gonna be a loving father?
Ain't gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
That's one. That ship just sailed.
Can I just say here? It's like, oh my God! I was just like saying this to my mother the other day, that I had to let go of all these resentments about the past as I grew older, because I had to realize, wow, my mother is a person. She's not just my mom. She's a woman who encountered certain circumstances, had a daughter, like way before she was ready. She was still like pretty much a child herself, and maybe in some ways like my life ruined hers, and she had to deal with all of these things. And wow, she's a person. And I didn't start thinking that way until I was a fully grown adult, not until a few years ago. And so I think about Maya in that way, and all the things that she's been through. She doesn't just exist to be, this loving force for Olivia. And yeah, she exists to be helpful, but every time Maya has gotten the opportunity to like leave and flee and move on with her life, she
takes it.
That. And that's what she did this time.
And Olivia needs to take her cues from her mama. But
she get it from her mama.
She says, does anyone think Liv will start sleeping with Jake? I will kill myself if that happens.
Me
again.
too.
I will kill myself.
No respect for her if she fucks that mother.
We are moving. It's like if Trump becomes president, we're all moving to the UK. What just happened?
Katrina.
What just happened?
What did she do? Drop her
Katrina,
phone?
you still there? I don't know.
She said she was using her phone. So.
There you go.
Did you knock your phone down?
She laid it face down. That's an interesting wood grain there. But who was your least favorite character in the episode?
Oh God, are you kidding me? It's always going to be it's Jake. I mean, it's definitely
Jake.
It's Jake. I mean, I think we've trashed him all day. So and Melly, God, Jake and Melly.
I'll answer for Katrina. Jake.
And
and
Melly.
for me, Jake. And so how do you feel that this episode serves the larger plot of the show overall?
It's been, what has it been, 3 days? And I think we've talked about how it does, but it goes back to what you were saying in the beginning. This was not a very satisfactory episode. It wasn't a finale. It was like an episode that you would have expected in the middle of the series. Do you know?
I mean, I think
it advanced the election, so we didn't have, a protracted time period of what do you call them? Of primaries, thank God. No, because those primaries would have been arduous.
We thought you passed out again.
No, I've just been drinking a lot.
The screen which is why we thought you had passed out.
You're drinking she's drinking my drink. That's my drink, girl.
Prosecco.
You like Prosecco?
Oh, girl, wait a minute. I drank a whole bottle between Grey's and Scandal on Thursday.
I'm halfway done.
How do you even remember what happened then?
I know, that's why I was hesitant. Because I've been talking to too many people about it now, so I do remember. Yeah,
you watched it again?
But I sped through stuff, though. Look, I'm helping you out here, okay?
A whole bottle, my God.
That was Thursday, so I had to go to the gym and work it off. So,
the doggies.
So wait, did Katrina give you?
They're playing around. They're doing their little play.
I was going to say, is Jake on screen?
He wanted to know who was your least favorite character, Katrina.
Guys.
I know, right? We all said
we already know.
Actually,
Jake and Mel.
which is why when I answered for her, I tilted my head because that's exactly what she does. Everything like, guys, come on, seriously.
You know what? When I watched 501, it was such a contrast in light and the way things flowed and Olivia's attitude and just her person. Yeah. And I thought, and the fact that Jake was in it for not even 10 seconds at the end when Huck goes to his apartment. And maybe because of that kind of relationship that he has with Jake is why he has sympathy for Jake and insisted that, oh, Olivia, why aren't you saving him? You know, they come from that world. He doesn't think of him as a trash ass person like I do. But I thought, wow, this show sings when this character isn't here. He's so shoehorned into this narrative and like keeps Olivia in bullshit. Like she can grow if she stops fucking with this dude, because he hasn't become a different or better person since season 2.
Yep.
He's the exact same character.
He's actually become worse.
Yeah, he's become worse.
He's actually become worse.
Become worse. Olivia's become
Oh,
worse.
she's
not a better person.
Oh, she really
since,
has. Yeah.
She met him. She's become worse. And she's trapped in this world between the two of them. And the fact that she's even teamed up with Melody Grand, who's also not changed until Marcus came into her life and she started to kind of like soften up a little bit, but she's still a bratty ass person. Hey guys. Hi.
There you
go. Stop. Thanks.
I was about to say, do you have a Jake doll over there? Because I was like, they're ripping him apart.
What a good idea. We should find one. We should find you
They're
one.
back at
and send you a Jake doll.
No.
Well, I would like to quote something from Scandalistas and Scandalrati that I found interesting from Rhonda Yvette Gans. She says, Season 5, at last what? At last, Olivia realizes her true love is neither Fitz nor Jake, but the White House itself. She loves exceptional power more than any man or herself for that matter. How utterly sad. What do you think of that?
I thought it was at last. Well, actually, I actually need to think about this more. At last, she's won, or she thinks she's won. At last, she's embraced her power, which I don't think is like really right. She hasn't. Someone said to me, was it Ijoba or Sarah said it should have had a question mark at last?
Or it should have just said, huh?
Yeah, right. At last, what?
Huh?
Yeah. Well, you know, that whole at last thing, I don't know. I mean, I take it like, oh, what are they doing?
Yo, I'm doing a podcast here.
I'm sure they understood that.
Mommy loves you, but y'all gonna get put down. She's gonna put you in a room somewhere.
I'm gonna throw this little rhinoceros doll at them and see if they'll like stop.
Yeah.
This is what they're doing.
They're just playing. They're just playing.
It's Fitz and Jake fighting over Olivia. But they're just like, we're just not. You're ignoring us. We want attention. So now,
but you know what, Katrina? But I totally agree with you, because you know, everybody, we can see the difference between, you know, 5A and 5B, and I know we're beating a dead horse here, but you know, the thing about any kind of series is that there's got to be something in there that makes you feel good about one thing, and I feel good about nothing other than Fitz's growth.
Yeah.
And even that, you know, and sure, I'm that's fine for him in relationship to him, but in terms, and he and Abby have developed an interesting relationship.
I love that part of it.
You know, but she's got some issues with her understanding of power as well. And, you know, and I think that has a lot to do with her having been a, you know, domestic abuse victim. Because, you know, that's never far from the surface in anything, no matter how you know, cope with it. But I just think, there's not even anything funny, about this back half of the season. I'm sure there were some funny moments, but I'm at, I'm in a
Susan.
difficult position. Yeah, Susan was funny and she was good. And I'm disappointed that she's not going to be used. I want to see how she's going to be used better, if that's even possible, because she was pretty funny. But
Well,
I think in order
sad,
for
the sad part about it is, I'm sorry.
huh?
The
Go
sad
ahead.
part about it is we'll probably do another time jump and we'll probably never see her again.
Yeah, she's not a regular, is she?
No.
No, she's
And
not.
could somebody
She's,
tell me why Liz is a regular? Did she just? I mean, because she has been like nothing to me.
I
at
hope
all.
she'll
Yeah.
go. Like once Fitz's administration leaves, I hope she will go off the show. Like I don't mind her. I'm not mad that she's
No.
there, but I feel like
No,
why
I don't
is
mind
there
her,
need
but,
to make
yeah.
her like a regular? She can go. I really, I would keep Susan, but I understand she has to go because she doesn't have any other purpose. I don't know what's going to become of Abby. I really hope that she goes with whatever the grant. Maybe Fitz will have a grant initiative like the Clinton Global Initiative, and Abby can be with Fitz because they work well together, and she's good for him. Yeah, and I'm actually kind of disappointed that Rowan, like Joe Morton's character, became a regular, because I'm like, what are you gonna do with him that doesn't involve him controlling Olivia? Because I'm tired of that. I'm really am. It's like,
Yeah.
When do we find out that he is a doppelganger that replaced her father years ago?
right.
And
right.
he,
That he's not.
He's her father.
He's
And-
not her father. Right.
Yeah, I
right.
don't think-
Yeah.
Or that the real Eli is actually being held in the same bunker that the mother was being held all this time.
Yeah. I'm talking about this. I'm not as. And it's not that I was distressed. I was like, my first reaction after the show was like, I was kind of like, okay. She's, nothing's resolved, and now we're stuck with this. But at least it wasn't something horrible, where I was just really going to be upset the whole summer, So
I'm thankful for that, at least. Let's thank God for
Yeah.
some miracles.
yeah, that was the best thing. Can we start answering some of these questions, maybe?
We can.
Yeah.
We can. So let's scroll
He
back.
is a regular. His name, anybody who was last is actually really important.
Yep.
Carrie's name is first, Tula Rosebud, and Tony's name is last. The person
And doesn't
who
it say
last is
and
actually-
Tony Goldwyn at the end?
It says
and Tony Goldwyn. Yeah.
Anybody who gets this is how cast lists work. If it's with so and so, that's important, but also and. Joe Morton used to always be the and at the end of the guest stars, which meant he was the most important guest stars. That's top billing. So
Right.
So Tony Goldwyn coming as the and Tony Goldwyn is the most important. Think of it like a fashion show. The most important thing is the person who comes out first and the model
And
who
the
comes
ones
out
that comes
last.
out last.
That's how it works.
So, I mean, they are the stars of the show,
Yeah.
But people remember it's an ensemble cast.
No.
So, sometimes you aren't going to have the same people every week, And if they get a week where you're really, the actors will tell you, if they get like a week where they're the fortunate ones and they're on set the whole time, they're really happy,
Right.
So
Because
you can't, and it can't be every week,
Right.
Oh, we didn't discuss Fitz and Melly dialogue. We did
Yeah.
a little
Oh, yeah.
earlier, but we can get into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It was
Well,
Melly was half honest and half dishonest within that speech. Very much.
Yeah.
I just
Not to
want to
mention
say that speech frustrated me a lot because so much of what she said was really trash. The whole, the part that made me the most mad was near the end where she said, you didn't stand on my back to get here. Bitch, where? The part where you allowed yourself to be pimped and sold because you wanted to be in a political marriage that was going to benefit you.
See
the
all
part
this?
where you parlayed your rape into your political benefit. The part where you were one of the main cheerleaders for Defiance. The part where you were setting up Cyrus's setting up James to be with Doug, with Dee Dee, so that it would ruin Scupper Sally's chances.
Sally.
The part where you refused to divorce Fitz, like how many times you escaped him, bitch, he divorced you. Stand on your back. The part where you like closed your eye to Olivia being there, went and prostituted yourself to get her to come back, talked about, I basically rolled out your whore for you to reelect you. Bitch, where the fuck did he stand on your back?
How about inducing labor? Wait a minute. How about inducing labor? How about the fake miscarriage?
She has been standing. She has been.
The part where you conceived of a political baby to like say, well, that's the part where you treated like a kid as like nothing, whatever. Yeah. Like this woman is the epitome of privilege to me, but she want to be oppressed so bad, and it just reminds me of white mainstream feminism. And it's like because I am not a white man. Well, bitch, you're a white privileged ass, highly educated woman. And guess what? That counts for a hell of a lot that your vagina and boobs make up for. So get the fuck out of my face.
But she said, "Oh, girl, you just."
But you know what? You know what? She's been standing on Fitz's shoulders in 3-inch stiletto heels. Yes. She's just like.
Where did she get that she made Fitz? You know, or. I mean,
that's terrific. But see, that's what I keep telling people. Whatever comes out of their mouths is a story they've created for themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the story. It's like
it's true. It's true.
It's true to them in their mind.
I mean, the only person who is really truly honest with who they are and don't give a rat's ass is Cyrus. Cyrus will tell you in a minute. Yep. I will gut you. I will gut you. Because
I just said that today.
She did. You did.
I said, look,
I'm a monster. Yeah.
But Cyrus knows he's an asshole and he accepts it and he will own up to his shit. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna put some respect on your name, Cyrus.
Some respect on it. Yeah, because he's even though he's probably one of the most evil characters of all, he's never lied about it. He's never pretended to be anything other than what he is.
He's lied about a lot of shit, but he's never lied
about who he is.
And what he wanted.
He lied out his ass to James and probably every day they were. I mean, hell, from the day of their wedding, he was lying to him.
Oh shit! Yeah, he bought the baby. Yeah, he bought the baby. He almost killed him. I mean, God. So.
Right, and so therefore, Cyrus is maybe like the least likable character in terms of the type of person you would want to hang out with, but he is a wonderful actor.
He's got to Cyrus has to stay. We need Cyrus.
Yeah.
But we can live without,
and that's why.
Because there's entertainment value in Cyrus. There's entertainment value in Melly too. But the reality is, we're talking. Let's on the real. We talk about these characters as if they're real because they do represent real people that we all know in some way. We know
some real ideas.
Real ideas, real thoughts. Yeah, we know these people on some level. Fictional or not, we know these people on some level, and that's why we can relate to them, and that's why they frustrate us. That's why when they say things that ultimately they say things that we want to say every day. And it's
what about what Cyrus said silently? He had that silent rant when Eli came to him about, taking on Jake, and he went off.
Oh my God!
And he did. You guys remember he did?
Sorry, I forgot.
Well, he did that to Fitz.
I forgot. Cash. Yep. That was Cash. I forgot about that one.
That was a
Yes.
definite
Cash,
cash.
That was a
Yeah.
one that silent rant because I was like, he can't really be saying this out loud.
No, I knew it was a. I knew it was. Yeah, I knew it was a Cyrus silent rant.
Yeah.
That.
But it
Yeah.
was awesome though. It was awesome because everything was true. Because it's like when he asked him about him and you saw that rant and then when he did you hear me? And like and then and then he said he's fine. I was like, yeah, Papa got to him because everything that was said in that silent rant was everything that was going on in his head for real. And it's like, no, this dude murdered the love of my life. And it's like, and I would rather chew on nails than deal with
Yeah, he was good. He was good. That was really good. So, all right. So we're doing questions.
Yep. So
No,
I'm trying. What happened?
No.
Did we lose?
No.
We lost her. Okay.
She'll come back.
So trying to find a starting point. Okay. So Tula Rosebud says, but when Mama used to say, "What's wrong with Olivia? Did we not hug you enough? Did we not tell you you were loved enough?" She was faithful to her. The answers to those questions were no. Well, of course not. She was gone, after her 12th birthday. Mama was gone for 21 years, so no. And of course, we know Papa wasn't doing no hugging. He wasn't even present.
But you know what? The last memory Olivia has of her mother is her mother hugging her and kissing her on the forehead and saying, "I love you, Olivia."
Right. But after 12, no, you didn't hug me
go
enough.
Abruptly from that to
to
be
to nothing
somewhere
to nothing
to Europe for school to nothing. And especially at that particular age, because she's just entering adolescence, she's 12. Those are formative years, and it's really kind of impactful.
Right.
So there is something arrested about this woman at that age who's still searching for that feeling and that kind of fulfillment. And the problem is that what she's done is she has, compartmentalized and squashed that and pushed it to the side in order to focus on this other part of her this last half of the season. And I really do think that that's why some of us feel the way we do about this back part of the season. Don't get me wrong. I feel like a lot of what's happened has been actually well written. It has been entertaining and in some ways insightful, but it's hard to see Olivia continuing to go down this path. And for me, I think this is the least amount of regard I've ever seen this woman have for herself, sort of personally. And I think the relationship with Jake exemplifies this. There's nothing romantic or sexy or good or light-filled about that relationship. It is the dirty bathroom of kind of retreat and safety in a world of captivity. And it is this psychological, mental world of captivity that she's in that I need her to realize. And I hope that Shonda starts to address or move Olivia to a point where she has no choice but to address these mental health issues in order to move on or to move forward with her life, because she has lost so much.
Right. I was just about to say, tilt your tablet up.
Okay.
But you know what? And that's very true, Katrina, because I was just about to say, with all of the issues that she has tackled over the time that the series has been on the air, she has yet to actually address mental health.
Yeah. I was very disappointed that didn't happen. I mean, May being Mental Health Month, and and I think we've talked about it before, how she does this aspirational episode at least once a season. Maybe it was, so I guess in this case it was the Hollis Doyle, situation where you work out something in fiction that you want to happen in real life. And so maybe it it was the Hollis Doyle thing. But I'm telling you, I was plugging for that sanitarium. I was just
I
so
know.
sure. I was just so sure she was gonna,
And
you know,
I mean, if we
I
can have
agree,
an au-
Vicky.
if we could have
huh?
if we can have an auction in during Black History Month, we can have Olivia go visit a sanitarium in Mental Health Month.
That's what you want.
Right,
What?
Switzerland. In Switzerland, I wanted to go to that fancy one in Switzerland.
Switzerland is the place to have it. Beautiful place. I fully support a
Yep.
Switzerland.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Is it
anyway,
where did she go to school? Was it Geneva? She went to school in Geneva.
I think she went to school. She went to boarding school in Switzerland. So, but
Yeah,
you know,
she did. So
and
what better?
Switzerland has
So,
they have this history of
Cilantro Grove or cilantro.
is
Yeah,
that where
so-
she went? Yeah. But
yeah.
there's a fancy spa where all of these, you know, rich, wealthy, you know, mega wealthy people go to for facelifts and, you know, and for mental issues. And I forget the name of
Mhm.
it, but it's like it's
Mhm.
very famous and
I
nobody
Facelift.
can get in.
The thing
Yeah.
is, you can get
facelifts and mental
Yeah.
issues. Facelifts and mental
Go
issues
hand in
don't
hand.
mix.
Yeah, they do.
They don't mix.
Sure, they
They do. They
Yeah.
they
Hey.
they are synonymous with each other, but they don't mix. Clearly.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
But
Well, we thought about
Um,
that. With her pregnancy, maybe she can like get therapy and like be on a couch and like sit down a lot.
Oh,
'Cause
right.
Shannon
Yeah.
did say on Kimmel that she has a plan to deal with Carrie's pregnancy, which makes me think, oh, so that means that you are going to be filming soon then. You're going to be filming while she was pregnant. Because to me, it looks like Carrie is
Mhm.
probably going to deliver by the end of September.
I swear,
but
she looked really, and she's been looking pregnant these last 2 episodes. I said, boy, is it
She
just because
popped.
we know? Yeah, I mean, it's just because we know she's pregnant.
No, her
And
face looked hella pregnant in this episode.
They
for
do.
Sure.
And
Um,
but we were still questioning, what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when she was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner and stuff. You know, she was hiding, you know, because there was a, you know.
She's been hiding that belly
Yeah.
for like
um,
at least 6 weeks. I don't want to get into it, but you know, I told
So-
you a while ago. Like, I thought
Yeah.
she
Let me-
was pregnant.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
Talking about this.
I'm gonna address Tula Rosebud again. Tula Rosebud, the order in which the names appear has nothing to do with whether they're irregular. Tony Goldwyn is definitely irregular. The name comes last
She couldn't
because
have been pregnant since 502 and 503. Do you know how long ago that was?
They filmed
And if
those
you
in
saw-
last summer. They filmed
and if
those
you saw-
last
and-
summer.
and if you saw her on Jimmy Kimmel, she's not even that big. So yeah, she hasn't been pregnant very long.
I
but-
think she's halfway
approaching
through.
6 months, dude.
Yeah, she's
No.
halfway, more than halfway through. Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
But
No.
she wasn't showing enough for people to say that she was pregnant back when they were
You're
saying she
wrong.
was
She's
pregnant.
not pregnant. She wasn't pregnant back then. She wasn't even
No.
pregnant in 509. I
Yeah,
guarantee
she
wasn't.
she got pregnant in the New Year or like
Yeah.
Christmas around.
Yeah, because if you saw her in a lot of those live
She got-
things, she was
Yeah.
flat and she was skinny, as a matter of fact.
She
was
got
very
pregnant.
thin.
She got pregnant during the break, y'all.
yeah.
But back to the Tony Goldwyn thing. I don't know if you're old enough to remember Dynasty, but they
Yeah.
used to put they used to put Joan Collins' name at the very end because it's the last name is the name that you remember. And because Tony Goldwyn at the time when we first started Scandal was probably the only known name on the billing. So that's why his name is last, not because he's not a regular, and not because he's not the star, one of the stars of the show. It's because in television, top first name billing is not always the cash spot. The last name, the very final name is the name that you remember most.
The first
So
name
that-
is important. I thought
Yeah, first name is
Yeah,
important.
no, the
Which
first
is why Carrie. But I'm saying because
Carrie
he
is
was
first
the
and Tony is the last,
right,
and that's
and he's
purposeful.
the last, and that is purposeful
Alpha and
because
Omega.
because when you look back on it, Tony was the biggest name star on the billing from the very beginning because we knew who Kerry Washington was but the overall American public knew Tony. Tony's name had more recognition than Carrie's at the time.
Well, and he didn't even have
But
to
that's just
audition. He didn't audition.
right,
She picked
right,
him
and
for that
that's
role. Yeah.
right, and that's just an industry thing that they do for some reason. It's just been something they've been doing.
It's a union thing,
Yeah.
and it's negotiated. Believe me. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep. First name and last name are the ones you were
Yep.
always.
Oh, somebody asked a question up above, like, do we think Jake is going to be VP and Olivia going to be his side piece? Hell to the money.
No, because that's the whole.
That's just so trash. And fuck all of you old ladies out there for like advocating.
That's the reason. That's the reason. That's the reason. Right. How are you gonna, and despite the fact that Jake doesn't love her, I don't love her. The fact that he doesn't love her.
Who cares? Nobody cares. You did it.
At the end of the day, he had a choice not to do it, and he did it. Right.
He did it. So he is exactly what Olivia said. He is weak. He needs her too much. He needs somebody to tell him what to do. It's been decades. As long as Melly hasn't paid for a drink in a bar, is how long Jake what to do. Can
we talk about the gullible little boy look that he gave when it was almost like he was asking permission if he could stand up when Olivia said, "Stand up, Jake, let's go." And he's looking back at
Rowan, like,
I'm like, boy,
what is Daddy think? What's Daddy gonna do?
But I will have to say one of my character quotes for the evening.
Idiot. I read that interview and he is so fucking clueless. I'm sorry. I'm like drunk now.
Oh, this.
Like,
what?
I was like, where are you coming from with this Olivia chose you bullshit? Especially in the scene where Jake talks about, oh, it wasn't about me, was it? It was so you could save your ticket. How do you take that scene and then say Olivia chose you? No, she didn't. She chose you to do her bidding. She has been using you for how long now? She used you in 518. Anybody who loves somebody doesn't say to somebody else that, I'm their weakness, and then goes and pretends to be drunk so they can solicit information from you. Nobody does that if they love you.
Yeah.
Come on.
But favorite character quote for that night was when Papa said, "You better tell this boy to sit his narrow ass back down."
Sit his narrow ass down. Yeah, that was good. That was good. Yeah.
I love how they slip in little black things into this show.
Mm-hmm.
Even for the white characters, sometimes even stuff like "Don't be cute," like that's a black thing, and like the characters.
Or when Fitz said, "We're keeping it real." Isn't that what we're supposed to do? and she said, "You need to lose that." So you even never say that one again.
I don't know who taught you that, but they should.
But don't ever
say that again.
Don't say that again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But God knows. Yeah. God knows how many times as black children we probably heard that if you don't go sit your narrow tail over that
narrow behind
narrow ass or what is rusty
narrow ass, narrow tail, narrow behind.
Rusty ass. We got rusty ass. Your rusty ass.
God.
Laura Coppola said it's saying you won't sit with me. Your ex-boyfriend is on a ticket with my ex-wife and you won't sit with me. I thought, fair enough. Olivia,
we talked about that this
morning. That just proves how much she was so disconnected from the significance of all of that. For me, it is Liz saying, actually two things. Liz saying, "You act like you're the only victim in this." I cried several times, tears from my eyes.
Oh, that was funny. I just
I laughed.
Yeah.
And Cyrus saying, "David Rosen. Oh God, no! I want to win."
That was funny. That was very funny.
Yeah.
But that.
What were you going to say, Ron?
Oh, Rusty Dusty, huh?
Let's see.
Oh yeah, I wish people would really understand that even with all the negative stuff that people say, that it only increases the metrics, that the show measures its popularity by, because they look at multiple platforms. They don't just look at how many people are viewing within 7 days of the airing. They look at how many mentions, negative or positive, that they're getting in social media. So all this boycott nonsense,
When I woke up the next morning, even from the UK, and I get the UK stats because I see like UK hashtag trends too. Scandal, it was like the next morning after the finale. I don't know if it was like 10 o'clock in the morning here or something. Scandal was still in the top 10.
I think it's still in the top 10 here, isn't it, Langston?
It is. I mean,
Yeah.
it has fluctuated. It's fluctuated. It's, it's been top 10, then it'll drop to 11, 12, but it hasn't dropped below the top 20.
So that was worldwide.
Then so top 20 is
right.
Top 20 is good.
It was number 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 9.
Yeah. So it's like, and then the season finale was up 20% overall. So
oh really?
So it's like people need to, if you want to stop watching. Stop watching it
and stop talking about it.
What is boycotting a TV show going to do? It's like, if it was your favorite at one point, pray that it becomes your favorite again. Stop griping.
Yeah. I don't get that level of energy.
My thing is if a show annoys me, sometimes shows just fall out of favor with me. Something just didn't click for me anymore, and I just drop out. I don't have to announce it. I don't have to tell it. I don't have to tell everybody.
And I don't continue to talk about it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Or retweet every negative press about it. I just stop.
Yeah.
These people do these things. It shows that you're still invested and involved.
Yeah.
Right.
I stopped watching Matt Secretary because I'm like, this show is like too white bread for me. I can't deal.
Right.
I stopped watching Ray. Was it Ray? Somebody basically
Ray Donovan
type show for Ray Donovan. I stopped watching that show because it's bullshit. And like a number of other shows where I think like I stopped watching New Girl like a while ago, so it's like I'm not feeling it's not as funny.
It's just like stuff just fades.
I don't know. I'm just done, and I don't announce it. I don't tell anybody. I just stop. And
stuff,
move on with my life.
Stuff just fades into the background. You let it go, and it's just like I don't feel. My God, if I sat down and wrote a rant about all the shows that I got tired of watching, I mean, my God, I have a life.
Really?
Right?
I know. Really, don't we?
My God, I have a life.
I swear, sometimes I think some people don't. I really do.
I mean,
the anger and the screeds and the anti-Shonda stuff and all of that crazy.
Right.
I mean, have you ever done this before? What did she do to you? Is that your auntie?
And my thing too is if you no longer appreciate her work, why are you still following her on Twitter? Stop following her.
Right.
But for some reason you get your life from sitting behind a computer screen insulting somebody that you don't even freaking know.
Yeah.
So stop it,
I know
girl.
A girl who has an entire account just so she can troll the
celebrities,
say really
Is
foul and ratchet ass things to her.
It's Jaha.
So
It's Jaha.
No, it's not Jaha. This is a girl who's supposed to be smart and educated. She's young though, and it just really disgusts me that she has this account because I've seen some of the things that she's tweeted.
Who is she? Who is she talking about?
I'm not gonna put her on blast, but
no. I don't mean who she is. I'm just saying, what is she saying about
things like why do you make all of your black characters subservient to white people, and saying that to Shonda and other things to Carrie about like why don't you say this about the show and all kinds of this like stupidness. And I think, what is wrong with you? What is your problem? She has a normal account and then she has this trolling ass account that she tweets from. I just think, Jesus, what is your problem?
Yeah, sad.
Tula Rose, I don't think Tom is ready for that relationship to be over, because I think Tom opened himself up to Cyrus in more ways than one, and he didn't look happy. He didn't look happy, and I've already predicted that this is one time that Michael's going to get a ring put on it that he's not going to be interested in, and that's that lovely little ring with the pointy needle at the end of it. He's going to come up and pat Mike on the shoulder, and next thing you know, he's going to be spitting up blood. So, because like he said, I can make it look like an accident.
Yeah.
So he'll be right there to console. He'll be right there to console Cyrus. And I don't know. And of course, I'm just thinking. I can't imagine that. It was kind of blunt the way that Cyrus kicked him to the curb. But it's like, Cyrus, he knows all your secrets. Surely you're going to try to keep him close. But I mean, but Cyrus.
I do wonder what will happen there. I'm glad they found a way to bring Tom back, because I missed him, and
yeah.
And it's so this show,
but
man. He's fucking
maybe they'll
child, and I still like Tom.
But we also know that he didn't do that of his own volition. Because Lord only knows.
But the
Lord
thing is,
only.
like, we could say that about Jake, and
I was going to say the same thing.
Like
they're both mission. They're both mission. They're both mission driven, which is one of the reasons why Jake can't let go of Olivia,
right?
Because he's still pretty much mission driven with her.
He's on the damn mission. He's on a mission, but it's an unsanctioned mission.
Well,
ain't nobody asked you to fall in.
Unsanctioned mission.
You were not commissioned to fall in love. You were commissioned to watch. Now sit your ass down.
And he said that, but
sit your narrow ass.
A defect. A defect.
But you know something. But see, that's one of the things that I think about Jake, and especially I think that Jake definitely is mission driven. He has to have a mission, otherwise, I mean, because he hasn't had a mission for the last all he's had is a mission for the last 20 whatever years of his life, while he was in B613, even while he was in the Navy. And I think there's even some really perverse. I mean, because remember how we're all still trying to figure out, why does Fitz feel some sense of loyalty to him, and and why is there that weird bromance thing going on, knowing what Jake has done or what he hasn't done, because I don't think Fitz knows about.
Fitz doesn't know
how he got to be the. No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
He really doesn't.
But I have to.
He still doesn't know that Rowan sent Jake in Rowan was the one who insinuated Jake into that situation. Because y'all have to remember, Fitz said Tom is the one that arranged that for him, for Jake to kind of watch. So knowing that Tom was an agent of Rowan's, you have to know that Rowan intentionally set all this up to get him to want Jake to do that. And so
he found him.
He found him, right? And so it took 27 episodes for Olivia to find out, or for Rowan to say to Olivia, I am the one that did that. I am the one that sent Jake in to your life to seduce you, even though we knew that. But it took 27 episodes for her to know that. Like, that's the way this show works. But Fitz doesn't know that Jake was sent in to do that. He thinks that, they just kind of like met and coincided and kind of had this thing.
Do you think he knows that Jake was B613 all along?
You knew that Jake was B613. I don't know how.
Because remember, he made him head of B613.
Well, he didn't.
When he kicked out Rowan, but
right, but he didn't.
Head of B613. Yeah,
but he didn't find out. Remember, Fitz didn't even know about B613 until Cyrus told him about B613. No, Olivia told him about B613, and when he mentioned it to Cyrus, Cyrus was like, "Don't say that out loud."
Well,
Yeah,
no,
but Fitz knew about B6.
he knew about it. Yeah, he had to,
He knew about it.
and he knew about Rowan.
No,
Because
he
Rowan-
had
Rowan.
he had to
Rowan
research.
had the
Remember,
order.
he hadn't seen Rowan for 20 years.
That's
So
right.
Right.
remember, Rowan is the one that commanded Fitz to shoot down the
That
plane.
was
the
That's
order.
who he received his orders from. And
Right.
Jake,
Right.
I think, was the one that probably was on the rescue mission that came in to get Fitz, like after.
Right,
things
because
went to
Right,
hell,
he
like,
saved
with
his life.
that
That's
mission,
when he saved
which
his
is
life.
why
Right.
he feels why he feels
Right.
indebted to him.
not necessarily saved his life, but covered for him so that he could have the life that he has now. Because it
Well,
was
that's
like
how Jake sees it. I think that's how Jake
Right.
sees it. You know,
Right.
that
that's how they both
that he
see
Yeah.
it. Because ultimately, if they could have found another B613 agent to save it, but Jake just happened to be the one, and Jake wants Fitz to be beholden to him, and Fitz feels beholden to him for that because of the fact
yeah.
that he, and that's who Pete Foster was, that guy too. But Pete was being, as opposed to Pete being a part of P613, Pete was being paid off to keep his mouth shut. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
he got to the point where he couldn't keep his mouth shut, so he had to go.
The Navy guy. Yeah.
Yep.
So
So, ladies, I think
Tula Rosebud, that's not true.
What?
Rowan brought up Remington to Fitz in 217, and Fitz wouldn't divulge much of anything to Rowan, to Cyrus. He told him kind of what happened, but he didn't tell Cyrus that he didn't know about Rowan. He didn't know Rowan was
Olivia's father.
right.
That's
Oh,
Right.
he didn't know for
Right,
a
because-
long time.
because
and Fitz wouldn't have told
right,
Cyrus all of the redacted information because he wouldn't even tell Olivia.
Right.
Now that should tell you how much
Yep.
he wouldn't have told Cyrus.
Right.
Because when Olivia confronted him about it in 306,
he
he said,
absolutely-
I've told you everything I could legally tell you.
and he
Yep.
yeah, he didn't deny
Yep.
anything. He didn't deny anything, but he couldn't tell her anything either.
No.
And because remember, Fitz had a private investigator research to find out about Olivia's parents, and they couldn't find anything on. Remember, the guy said he couldn't find anything. He couldn't find much on either of them, but he was able to find the father's old ID, and
Miss Smithsonian.
Oh, right. Yeah. And,
and-
then Fitz saw the picture.
and Fitz
Yeah.
was shocked to see who it was, and you could tell that he recognized the person in the picture.
Yeah, he confronted her with
Well,
that in 308 when they went to
308.
Vermont.
Yeah,
In Vermont. Well,
Yes.
why didn't you? Oh, I know. I say it.
Why didn't you tell me?
They need to-
Because
Oh,
my
God,
father.
they need to bring Ava DuVernay back, though. She needs to do an episode
He
again.
needs to go
She
back.
was-
Come on.
She was so good. No, anyway.
I want to see Fitz like chilling in Vermont when he gets out of office. I want him to go back there and write his memoirs.
You read too much. That's
Mhm.
fan fiction right now, right?
Well, he.
I have
well,
a
he-
prediction for
Well, he did. Well, he
Yeah.
did bring it up. He said that he would. Might,
Wait, somebody did ask that. They and we talked about this offline. They asked, "Did you see Abby's little smirk when he mentioned maybe I'll go to Vermont?" And she turned it back, and she was like, "Hmm." So I don't know,
right.
that's going to mean something, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and I want to say, I know you want to. One of the things, and nobody supports me on this so far. One person, I really felt the editing of this episode was really choppy. Usually I think the way a show is put together, either it flows or sometimes it's choppy, but that's like intentional to the content. But this I just felt like I was getting vignettes that weren't necessarily connected.
But
I didn't feel that.
But you
Yeah.
know what? Most of the season finales have been like that, where we got vignettes because they're trying to tell so much and wrap up and connect the dots in the last episode. I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
And set up, I said and set up for the next season. Like
Yeah,
track.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't say that I've noticed that, Yvonne. I can't say that I've noticed that or felt that choppiness, because sometimes I do feel it, and I can't really say that I did feel it with this one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been me and the prosecco. So, you know,
See.
you look as I'm looking at my phone, I'm looking at my tablet, looking at the screen, and so
Well-
it could have attributed to the choppiness for me. So, but
Well,
I'll watch again. I'm gonna watch again.
before I completely pass out on you guys, I think it's time for us to
yeah,
wrap
we
it
need to
up.
wrap this up.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I had a long night, and then I had an early morning this morning, and then the frustration of trying to get this all up and going. So I've been sitting here trying to like nod out, but
Thanks for letting me sneak in
we're
as
glad
unprepared as I was. So.
glad you could be here.
Okay.
Lovely
All right.
thigh, Katrina. It's a lovely.
I
look.
wasn't showing you my thigh. I was showing
Yeah, you
my
did.
baby.
but your thigh is still
Oh,
lovely.
my thigh.
Yeah.
But love your jumpsuit going on there. It's cute. Very nice.
Her romper.
It's
Is that
a
her
dress.
romper?
Yes, it's a mini dress.
It's a
It's
dress.
cute. Mini
It's
sundress.
a mini dress, and I had a purple cardigan since everybody was wearing purple. I had it, but I don't really need it because I'm warm in here. So
Okay.
What's happening
Well,
to my
in the
face?
episode,
Well, as you know, this is the season finale. We're wrapping up. Don't disappear yet, lady. You got to say goodbye first.
yeah,
So
say
we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna wrap up the season finale episode here. It has been great all season, fellowshipping with you guys on the series, and we will see you.
I
we will
turned my
see you
camera
for-
around. I can't figure out how to do it.
Yeah, I'm like, where are you, Yvonne?
I know. I turned my camera
Yep.
around, and because I can't figure out how
Well,
to
just-
do it without cutting you off. So wait.
Well, just
Here I am.
flip her. There you go. I was gonna say just flip it around, but
Okay,
but
bye.
we'll see you in September or October or maybe even November.
Thank you.
We'll see.
or
We'll-
January.
We'll see you in right. We'll see you in September, October, maybe November, just before the break.
January.
Yeah, we don't know when because I heard that they said
May.
right because they said 16 episodes next season, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm not mad about because it could make for a really tight season. So
Yeah,
I'm okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
the,
let's
the,
hope- let's
the
hope so.
writers are writing. We know the writers are already writing. And and next week we get the schedule with the upfronts. So we'll know.
Yeah.
there you go.
Bye.
So either way, we'll
Thank
see you
guys
next season.
so much for your
Mhm.
support.
Thank you.
And
Thank
the
you very
new
much.
formats and being involved. You guys have been great. Thank you for all your questions, your participation, your watching, your tweeting. We love you. Thank you for tuning in so much. You're the reason why we keep doing this,
Mhm.
and obviously our love for the show. So thank you guys for your support.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for
And-
letting me be a guest. I loved it. I really did.
Yes,
And
thank you
since-
for coming on
Yeah.
and donning your hat and getting over your
Yeah.
hair.
Next time my hair will be its normal fabulous situation the next time.
and since next year is an even number, we'll probably be doing 2x2 as opposed to 3x3s. So we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
I
see
like
how it
that.
works
2
out.
by 2.
All right.
Like
later.
2x2.
Later, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Ciao. Okay, we stopped.
Have a good summer.